Alright, yo, it's your boy Yoshikidneo, and we are back with more D&D action. And today should be mostly RP, I'll be honest. I'm pretty sure it's going to be mostly RP, because there's a lot of things that we're doing that have to do with the players doing some downtime. So, should be fun to get into that. Hopefully you enjoy. Alright, make sure we set DJs at a good level. Dope. I'll do recap after a short little combo with Cyrene!
What?
I'm just kidding. So, we'll start today's session off
Hey!
with...
I didn't realize you'd moved me out of there. Okay.
Yeah, so, the last thing Cyrene remembers is jumping into the ocean in an attempt to save Lacan as he was being dragged to the who knows where, but you assume the depths of the ocean, which is an accurate assumption.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
I thought I went to the moon.
No, unfortunately, you were not successful in your attack, and you instead ended up being dragged down also. As you were being dragged down, you didn't actually die. The attacks against you were non-lethal, but you were unconscious and you kept fading in and out as you kept descending, watching this creature as it gripped onto you and Lacan, and you watched. Every few seconds, you would be able to open your eyes to kind of see your surroundings, and you just saw big clumps of kelp all over the place. You would stare over at Lacan every now and then, and you would see tiny bubbles dripping from where his face mask is on his helmet, which indicated that he also was alive. The last thing you remember before completely going unconscious is the creature that had gripped you guys had gone up to this thing of kelp, and essentially put Lacan's body in there, wrapping him up, and he cast some sort of spell or something happened. You're not exactly sure what happened, but then you saw this tiny bubble form around his mouth. This was probably within the first couple minutes of you guys going underwater, so this creature definitely was attempting to get something or someone down here, and they were attempting to do it non-lethally. Then you black out. And while you're blacked out, Cyrene, my flame. It's the voice of your formal flame, Donvis.
Okay.
As you sort of come to, you wake up and you notice that there's something weird about the location you're at. It's definitely not underwater. All it is that you see around you is complete black. You look around, you touch on the ground, and it feels like probably like just a flat, nothing. It doesn't really have a texture to it, but it's got substance to where you can actually stand up. So you end up standing up and walking around looking, and all you hear is, Cyrene, my flame. And you hear it coming from a particular direction, so you start walking that way. And after a few moments of you doing this, you see Donvis walking towards you. It's so good to see you. It has been too long.
Oh, where are we?
We are at your house, of course. Do you not see? And he starts to point at various things, but every time you look over, it's just nothing.
No, it's completely black.
Oh. Interesting. So this is very strange. I've never had this sort of experience where I see you, but you don't necessarily see me in the same light, I guess. Where are you, or what do you remember last?
I remember trying to save one of my friends, one of my fellow peacekeepers, and then in and out blackness, but nothing after that.
Interesting.
What happened? Where are we?
Well, currently I'm at sea looking for you. But now that I know that you are possibly being dragged to the bottom of the sea, do you do you happen to know the location of your friends that you were with? Because I assume you were on a peacekeeper's mission, correct?
Yeah, we just left the city of guilds, and we
Very
were
good.
heading to uh, one of the outposts
Yeah.
to go on a mission.
Which country were you headed towards?
We were
Cyrodiil.
going to, yeah, Zerodel.
Hmm. You watch as he strokes his chin. I think I have an idea of where you are. I will notify the captain that I'm with currently, and we will set sail over there. I I feel I have to rescue you. That if you are only seeing black, I don't understand exactly what is going on here, but something is allowing us to speak with one another. But knowing the location you're at and knowing what the Marrow have been up to, I may have to do things that I don't want to do, but if it saves you, I will gladly do them. And I want to go ahead and ask for your forgiveness beforehand. I feel the tether between us starting to fade. There's not much time, but I still love you, Cyrene, even though we both know why, well. And he stops at that point, and you watch as his figure, without moving, starts to drift away from you. And all of a
Be
sudden,
careful.
it looks, as you look, he starts looking around as if he's trying to find you, and then he disappears. And it's at that moment that you kind of still sit there and you look around, and all of a sudden you hear a very demonic voice coming from behind you. And as you turn around, you see there behind you Dagon, the demon prince of the sea. He smiles at you, and then he says, "You will do nicely." And you watch as one of his tentacles starts to come towards your body. And as it gets closer, you try to move, but you realize that you're frozen, paralyzed, unable to. As it gets closer, it kind of brushes your cheek a little bit, almost in a romantic fashion, but not really. And then the tip of the tentacle uh, latches on to the back of your neck, and it kind of feels as if it's poking at you. And after a moment, you feel a slight tingle of pain, and then it almost a burning sensation. You will do nicely. And with that, his image fades, and then your image fades, and that's where we bring you back to the group. But you're still
Okay.
unconscious when I bring you back in.
Okay, cool.
All right. So last time we left our fellows. Hello, Reed.
What's going on?
Chillin'. You guys had, uh, well, when I say you guys, I mean Mirden and Zuka were on the ship still, and they had alerted, or they had drowned fire off a flare gun up into the sky to essentially lure other boats around so that you guys could get some help. While they waited, Saris had contacted Zuka and had ended up finding out that Lacan and Cyrene had been beaten and dragged to the bottom of the ocean. With a decent explanation of where this ship might be, he was able, or Saris was able to send Alfred and a new armored gentleman that you guys learned the name of as Cassius onto your boat. The horse did not make it to the boat. It barely missed, but you guys ended up figuring out how to get the horse onto the boat after just a few moments. But it was quite funny. Cassius introduced himself as looking for the human known as Lacan that you guys had been adventuring with. He had something that he needed to speak with him about, but didn't really go into much detail. Other than that, a ship was approaching, and of course, it was a pirate ship. And Drown told you guys to go ahead and just hide your valuables if you could, although he didn't really have many spots, unfortunately. When that pirate ship had come, a half-elven druid that was adorned with seashells had jumped onto the ship, telling you guys that you were about to be boarded. And lucky for her, you guys didn't just spring into action and start fighting. That would have been funny. Anyway, the pirates ended up boarding your ship, and they, in untypical pirate fashion from the stories that the characters on the ship knew, they ended up repairing your ship instead of trying to steal all your money. They still tried to take your money, but they did it in the form of donations and said that if you didn't donate, then they would have to accidentally blow a hole into the ship and repair it as part of your donation. All of you, except for Cassius, ended up doing a donation, which Zuka ended up taking care of it as they were lighting up a cannon, and he didn't want to have to deal with that. Eventually, you guys met two merfolk who said that they were friends of Cyrene's and would love to help you guys in retrieving Cyrene and Lacan from the bottom of the sea. They informed you of the ways they were going to make sure you guys would be able to swim and breathe underwater, and you guys went into what some device they had called the bubble. While you were down there, you had two objectives. One was to find your friends, and the other was the pirates were looking for some sort of emerald tablet, some sort of artifact that they had been paid to find for whatever reason. You guys took about 30 minutes or so, following a loose clue of some dim light in the very far reaches of the sort of everlasting darkness that is the depths of the sea. And you guys came upon some sort of underwater temple, and you saw a large group of Sahagin and Marrow that were currently engaged in some sort of worship or ritual that was going on. You guys devised a plan. You put that plan into action, and as the plan started going off, the male merfolk, Donvis, had approached the Marrow, started speaking in some language that you all did not understand at all, and ended up trading the body of Cyrene for his companion, the female merfolk. She cursed his name, and they put her in this little watery torrent that was in between four Sahagin priestess, and they started to chant. And you guys sprung into action. You were able to grab the artifact that you needed, and you gave it, or the pirate Keto was able to grab it. And then you guys ended up finding Lacan's body, and you were able to kind of fuck up some of the Sahagin and the Marrow, but after a while it became too late, and they finished whatever ritual they were doing, which took the life of that female merfolk and allowed Dagon, the demon prince of the sea, to emerge into the material plane. At this point, there was a merfolk group led by a paladin that had been searching for this location and searching for Donvis. They were able to capture Donvis and sort of allow you guys to escape from Dagon, as he wasn't too worried about you guys at the point of the merfolk, and he started to eat them. After about 15 minutes of you guys swimming as fast as you could, you got back to the pirate ship. While aboard, you guys did what you could to try to bring Cyrene and Lacan back to consciousness, but nothing was working. I think Alfred is the only one that noticed that there was some sort of symbol on the back of Cyrene's neck that sort of faded out of existence after he had seen it. Once he pointed that out, the rest of you looked and didn't see anything. Cassius was holding on to Lacan's body, kind of, cradling as if like it was a really great friend that had fallen in battle. So he tended to him and stuff like that. Other than that, the pirates thanked you guys for your service, and they fucked right off and went sort of northwest of your location as they set sail. At this point, the paladin had approached your ship and told you guys that you would more than likely be called within a few weeks' time or so to testify against Donvis and what he had done as they were searching for him to bring him to justice for whatever reason. He had told you guys that what he did was necessary to bring Cyrene back safely, and that he believes what he did was right. So, after they left, you guys had a repaired ship and started sailing back to the City of Guilds in order to report what had just happened. And we'll go ahead and pick up this session with you guys getting into the Guild Hall. You have Cyrene and Lacan still unconscious. Let me get... Whoops. Let me get Cassius out there. Zuka's there, Mirrodin's there, Alfred is there, and these two are chilling. And as you guys start to sort of like tend to their wounds even more, even though there's really nothing you can do, probably about 30 minutes or so of you guys being in here, you guys see Saris walk in, and he has a bundle of papers with him, but he stops to see, oh, good, you're all back. Oh, and I see you have Lacan and Cyrene with you, so seems that all went well in your deep sea adventure.
In a manner of speaking, there's still the manner of the Demon Lord that got unleashed, but we're all still alive. So.
Sorry? What?
So, remember how we said that there was the no Demon Lord that was brought into this world?
Correct.
There was another one of these cults that someone did, an underwater one as well. So that's the thing that's happening. You seem a little quiet over there, Saris. You okay?
Yeah, he's got this blank stare as he's looking at you, and then he kind of like shakes his head and he's like, that's the third one that's been reported.
Third one?
Are you...
Yeah, I'm confused by that. Third one is what?
Oh, good. We're not the only ones. That makes me feel a lot better.
Wait, what do you know about this?
Correct. You are not the only ones that have seen one, but so far you're the only ones that have survived one. Let alone two of them.
Yeah, technically two.
We got word that a neutral faction of Minotaurs that live in the northwestern location of the world, near the Slidoria. Is it Slidoria? I forgot the name of my goddamn kingdom. Slidora, yeah, Slidora King Empire, and we know his name to be Baphomet.
Baphomet. Huh. This certainly doesn't bode well.
No. No, it does not.
Do we have any... I've been, trying to research stuff about these demon lords, but I haven't really been able to find too much about them. Do you know if there's any other like hidden archives, or is anyone else in the city like an expert on them at all?
The only people I know of in the city that would know anything would probably be the clergy. But I think that they're more well-versed in devils, not demons. Although it might be a little bit of both. Perhaps you could start there, but now that we have rumors of a third one, well, not rumors, but now that we have concrete evidence of a third one, I believe that all these neutral factions, such as the Tusculi, and he holds up one of the points to one of the contracts on the board there. There are other contracts that were far more advanced for you all, but they have to deal with a neutral faction in each of the regions of the world. More or less near a major empire. It would seem that these neutral factions are trying to summon their demon lords, and for what reason I have no idea.
So, do we have an exact list of these neutral factions? Because it seemed what I've been researching, what I've noticed so far is that the Gnolls have a demon lord, and then the merfolk also did as well. The corrupted merfolk, I forget what their names were already.
Marrow?
But the yes, Marrow. And he said minotaurs, correct?
Correct.
So it seems like these are humanoid-ish, but also like not entirely human races.
Exactly, yes, it does seem that way.
There seems to be this blood sacrifice that happens as well, or some sort of sacrifice to summon them.
Just so you know, Jeff, that stuff that's under downtime activities, you don't know that stuff yet, as of right now.
Oh, I thought I did. I thought you said.
No, we haven't done downtime yet.
You're right. Yeah. My bad. I shouldn't have put up.
You're good.
I'm getting confused because I thought like he didn't. I thought this was like fast forward. I'm like,
no, we're about to
see us in like 2 weeks.
This.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Yeah.
I'm bad.
But no, he looks at you. Yes, we don't have all the information, but so far 3 demon lords are currently roaming our world. I'm not exactly sure what they're here for, but I don't really want to find out.
So it is a bit odd that all these demon lords are popping up. Are there more that we should be worried about at all?
He kind of scratches his head and he's like, I'll be honest, from what I've heard is there's almost a limitless amount of demons. Demon lords, I should say. They essentially, well, do you know anything about the 9 hells or the abyss, perhaps? Anyone that is proficient in religion may roll to see if you know. I'll also if you're proficient in history, you can also roll. I'll assume no one is.
Yeah, I'm not.
No,
I think I'm still unconscious.
Yeah, I am. I'm just trying to get to my sheet real fast.
Okay.
History or religion?
Yeah,
said?
if you're proficient in one or the other or both, roll one of them.
Well, I technically am,
Yeah,
but
you're
you're
knocked the fuck out.
No, well, I think both of them. Hold on, let me double check.
I gotta go take my breath again real fast.
Yeah, do your thing.
I'm gonna move Cyrene to her
one.
room.
I mean, Cassius can as well, but he took Lacan to his room.
Okay. Well, we can tell Jeff what Saris is about to say. Well, no. Alfred would probably chime in and say, I've heard that the Abyss is almost a limitless space that has thousands upon thousands of layers, and each layer holds a demon lord. And Saris would say that that is correct. Sometimes a layer will even have 2 demon lords that are locked into eternal conflict. So yes, I believe if 3 of them are already here in the matter of a few days, then more than likely there are others that might come too. But we do not have the manpower to research all of this at once, especially since one such contract led to the death of a whole crew.
So, question: so would sacrifices be the only way that they can get could cross over? or
I
are
mean,
there other ways?
so far there is a common aspect to all of this, is that many innocent lives are taken moments before the appearance of these demon lords. Which means that the creatures responsible for bringing them to our lands live in quite dense population locations. They can't just be out in the middle of nowhere and summon them unless, I guess, maybe they've been working at it for a while, but that would take a lot of effort on their part, which, I guess if they're bringing a demon lord to the material plane, they probably don't mind. Especially because these demon lords are essentially... You can think of it this way. The gnolls, for instance, are the spitting image of the demon lord Yanagu. He created them as an extension of himself, something that would allow him to influence the material plane. And it would seem that one of them, the Death Knight that you all fought, was that such creature. He ended up learning more about his lord and wanted to bring him to this place at whatever the cost. Thus, he traded his life for his master's. And now that's where we stand. Other humanoid races seem to be doing the same thing. I plan to make this report immediately. He holds the contracts that he has in his hands, all of them new. I'll hold off on these until the guildmaster tells us what exactly we should do. For now, you can plan for another contract, but I feel it's best for all of you to go ahead and just stay within the city limits, or at least not venture more than a few hours outside of the city until we get proper orders. After which, you're free to do as you please. I will keep in touch with you day to day to let you know if a decision has been made. But for now, I leave you. Tend to Cyrene and Lacan, and once they come to, if they have any new information, send for me, and I'll make sure to write it up in my reports. Do you have anything for me?
Not exactly.
Yeah, other than the events that have happened, no, not really. Oh, well, I got a question, honestly. Any news on that thing we were talking about earlier?
Not so far. I mean, it's only been a day since you told me.
Sure.
Haven't really had much time to check in, and as of now, I don't know if I will for quite a while, but I am poking my nose where I believe there could be a mole.
Okay, and then I also have another question.
Go for it.
So, these demon lords, have they crossed over before?
Kind of scratches his head. I'm sure maybe one or two in the history of the world has. I don't know if you know much about the planes of existence, but the material plane, think of it as the center of all of the other planes. And there are other planes that kind of help form and shape it as it is. So more than likely, yes, many have come, maybe before we had intelligent civilizations, or intelligent beings that were able to record data of when they came and went. So I do feel that the research of this might be quite limited, but he looks to Alfred. I would probably start around the churches and temples.
All right, understood. Thank you for the advice. Well, I guess we'll just kind of take some time off and rest up, and just kind of wait till the council makes a decision.
Yes, and I will check
Yeah.
back from day to day. Regardless of if you're all here, does not matter, but as long as someone is here, that would be fine. Until then, I leave you to it. And he sort of gives you guys a head nod and starts to walk out.
Well, Lacan and Cyrene, they're just back in the rooms, sleeping it off. I'm kind of banged up myself, so I think I'm just gonna turn in as well.
All right.
I also
I
pull
guess I'm
up my shells. I'm gonna make a little knick-knack station as well.
Okay.
Referring to the 2 shells I pulled out of the under the seat.
So yeah,
Were
he
they
pulls
full
out
shells?
these two shells, and they're about the size of your hand, Alfred.
Mhm.
And Zuka and Mirden, you guys would definitely notice that these shells more than likely came from the bottom of the ocean.
Were these like single shells, or were they like an oyster kind of thing?
Which did you want?
I want to try to open them if they were an oyster.
Okay, they're an oyster. One of them's an oyster. The other's a normal seashell that you would see on like a mermaid's bra or some shit like that. Think of
Okay.
Ariel, except for not purple, they're pink.
Okay, I'm gonna crack it open and see what I find.
Strength check. Disadvantage. Also kidding, just strength check. You start to try to pry it open, and it's actually quite strong. But after about a minute of pulling and tugging at it, you finally hear like a snap inside of it, and then it opens up to reveal nothing
Ah,
except for
wow.
salt water, and it kind of splashes out and gets onto the floor. A little bit of sand.
Well, I clean it up, and then I'm gonna go put these on my shelf in my room. I
Okay.
think I'm the first one on the left.
what's Brady? What time is it?
So right now you guys got back probably around 3 in the afternoon.
Well, I guess there's still time to kill.
Yeah, but at this point I was unless you guys are role playing, I was gonna go ahead and initiate the downtime activities.
All right. Well, I guess yeah. You can go ahead and do that. I don't have anything.
Okay. So if all of you except for I don't think I did anything for Lacan since we already went through kind of what happened with your downtime. The only thing we gotta do is when you wake up, you and Cassius talk. But if you go to the players tab, and then in there you'll see character handouts. Each of you have a journal, and I added what you kind of find during your downtime activities, and we will go through them and kind of role play them out as need be. But first, we'll go ahead and sort of towards the end of the night. Cyrene and Lacan both finally come to consciousness. Reed, it is your choice if you want to go and have a private roleplay session between Cassius and Lacan, or if you want the players to hear it. Alright, be right back, everybody. Alright, so as you start to wake up, you see Cassius. He's taken off his helmet as you start to wake up. You feel around and you notice that your helmet is off. I knew it was you, Oswald.
But Percival, what are you doing here?
I heard rumors about a strange person walking around with strange looking armor. They joined the Peacekeepers Guild, and this happened all moments after your disappearance. I thought, no, it couldn't be. There's no way. But He smiles, and here you are. I knew you couldn't have died, not in that fashion. The fire's not enough to take you out. But our poor sister. How did you get mixed up in all of this?
That would be the fault of our family. This wouldn't have happened if they hadn't kicked us out to begin with.
I do agree with that. There was really no reason for father to send off our dear sister, even if she was deemed useless, but he's been very strange lately. I don't know what to come of it. But it's almost as if he does not care about the Empire or his family. He doesn't even care about his wives. He's stopped having children. Can you believe that? The old man's finally tired of them.
Hard to believe, considering there are way too many of us.
I agree. Well, this whole adventure of mine, father doesn't know about it, and in all honesty, he probably never will. He's always gone now. I don't know what he's doing. I, I think he's searching for something. Do you happen to know anything, possibly, before you had left? Like, had he said anything as to why he sent our sister away? Like, what was to gain from it? I've been trying to piece it together, but after hearing about you, I had to come and see. And I'm glad I did.
Afraid not. For when they were sending her off to Arion, I was trying to prevent that from happening, and they simply sent me off with her.
Very strange. Well, that's, I guess, a conversation for another day. Your friends seem quite nice. I take it you plan to stay here, more than likely? Or would you like to return home with me?
I'm afraid I have no interest in her family for what they did to us, casting us aside. I was more comfortable thinking that no one knew I was alive.
Very well. I thought you would say that, but might as well ask. You are one of my favorite siblings. Cornelius has been doing quite good at keeping the kingdom running, even while father's away. I'm sure he would be happy to know of your existence, but I don't think anyone but myself expected or suspected that you were alive. And judging by your armor and the fact that I found you with your helmet and the fact you're putting it on now, are you trying to keep this all a secret?
That would be correct. There are other Titanians that roam about.
That is
There's a
true.
possibility that I could be recognized without my helmet.
Well, I will make sure that your secret stays safe with me. I won't even tell Cornelius. I do hope that in the future I can come to see you again. It's quite nice to know that you're alive for one, but it's starting to become quite a chore living back at home. Real quick, do you know where your master, what was his name? It started with an E.
Edgar.
Yes. Is he still alive? Do you know? Oswald probably wouldn't have a 100% confirmation, but he would believe he's alive.
Well, before I came here, he was. If something has happened since, I'm afraid I wouldn't know.
Very well. I'm just so relieved to see you. But I know that you've always been one to protect others, and it seems like this is quite the place to do that. I watched your friends as we went under the depths of the sea to save you, and they seem to care about you, uh, at least enough to put their lives at risk in the face of such a great evil. Uh, didn't know that demon lords were being summoned to our world. That, I'm assuming, is probably more public knowledge. I think, now that I have confirmation of your existence and that you're still alive, is there a way for me to keep in touch, maybe by letter? I can continue using, what do they call you? Lacan, right?
Yes, I go by Lacan.
Yes, I can send you, letters occasionally, letting you know the, I guess, various aspects of what's going on in the family, even though I know you don't truly care, but there has to be a sliver in there somewhere. Regardless, it'll just be nice to hear from you. Uh, but
Hmm.
I'll alert the family of these demon lords. Maybe we can somehow spring into action and help prevent them from coming or send them back where they came.
My memory is very foggy. I have no idea what happened recently. The last thing I remember was being on a boat fighting this tall creature that grabbed me with tentacles. I can't recall the events after.
He proceeds to go on and tell you all the stuff that you as a player know about the last session that he was in. And that's
Huh.
about it. Quite the grisly
More
sight.
of them. That's going to make things difficult.
Yes, I believe it will, but I think we can beat them. Especially since you're still alive, they couldn't even kill you.
Well, it sounds like they were trying to sacrifice me, not kill me.
Maybe. But luckily they didn't. Well, brother, there's a long road back to Titania. I fear that the areas around the oceans are not as safe, but I must try. And the sooner I leave, the sooner I get home and can warn our people. I will be in touch, and if you ever need anything, uh, just send the letter to our butler using my name Cassius. He'll know where to send it.
Very well. If you wish to send a letter to me as well, try not to be specific with the family names either.
Can do. And he stands up and puts his helmet back on. Well, I'm glad you're safe, and I'm glad I could save you. But we will meet again, hopefully. And until then, be safe.
You as well, brother.
And has been released.
You guys hear a door shut around Lacan's area, and then you hear the metal footsteps of someone that's wearing some heavy armor walking down the hallway as you guys are all chilling in your rooms.
I creak open the door and I look left and right.
You would see the tail end of Cassius as he walks away towards the exit of your guild hall.
I go over to Lacan's room and I knock on the door.
Who is it?
It's me. It's Alfred. May I come in?
You hear mechanism being undone, etc. Then the door opens.
Hey, you okay? Haven't seen you since, well, earlier today when you guys left, and
Well, I am doing better. Everything hurts, but
yeah,
better.
Yeah,
This armor has been pretty trashed.
Oh, what can I see on his armor, Brady?
You see. So you notice the thing about his armor is you know that most plate mail, it is somewhat fitted to the person wearing it, but there's something special about his that almost makes it to where it almost resembles that of like a light leather armor with how it kind of sticks to his body and moves with him, allowing him to kind of freely move the way he does. You've not actually kind of taken this close a look before, but you do notice that there are quite a few big dents around the chest area, which probably can't be comfortable to breathe with dents that large, but they sort of take the shape of a tentacle that you notice.
Is there any holes or anything in his armor?
No, it was quite resistant to being punctured, but sort of like where the leather around the joints and some of the chain links you can see are kind of either ripped or torn and broken.
Well, speaking of which, he's gonna unlatch the chest plate and just let it fall to the floor anyways, so that way he can
Okay.
breathe better.
I'm a cast mend on his armor if I can.
Okay. You try to, and you're able, after using the spell for a little bit, some of the tiny chain links you're able to, repair, but the big ass dents remain. Some of the tears in the leather are just beyond the mending cantrip, but it's in somewhat better condition now than it was.
Okay, well, that's best I can do.
It'll be fine. I'll need to take it to the forge and work on it.
Okay. So he doesn't know any. Right? Was Lacan informed on anything, or I'll just ask you. Do you know what happened down there, Lacan? Do you know, like, while you're out, does anyone fill you in at all?
Cassie has told me enough details.
Okay. And yeah, he seemed kind of concerned to try and find you. Is he gone now? Is he going to stay around, or?
He said he needed to head back home, but he will probably be seen again.
Okay. Well, just checking in on you, making sure you're okay.
Well, I do appreciate it.
Do you know if Cyrene is awake, or she's still out?
I haven't left my room yet.
Oh, yeah, he wouldn't. Okay. Well, I'll just leave you alone. I'll catch up to you tomorrow. You just sleep it off. Go back to my room.
You can hear, as you leave Lacan's room, you can hear movement coming from Cyrene's room.
I knock on that door.
Come in.
Hey.
Hi.
You okay?
No. How's everyone else?
Well, yeah, a little banged up, but not as bad as you guys. But
Yeah.
do you know what has happened since you went out, or?
Not really. Just kind of what I've heard.
Okay.
Here and there.
So I go and inform her about the Demon Lord and everything else like that, and I forget that guy's name. That guy's name's ready.
Donvis?
Donvis.
The merfolk, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I tell her that Donvis was heavily involved in a way he was looking out for you, but in a selfish way. I'm not sure if you know about his involvement at all.
Yeah, I had a vision of him, I guess, while I was trapped. And I was hoping he wouldn't do anything super crazy to help, but I heard what he did to the other person, the other lady.
Yeah, he didn't want you to get hurt, but But he, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he helped you, but it was a very selfish kind of way. But at least you're still here. One more
Yeah.
thing. After everything ended, I noticed there was a mark that appeared on the back of your neck. And do you know anything about that?
Nope, not at this time.
Okay. Just I don't know. Just letting you know you might have some residual something on you, a spell or a curse or magic. I'm not sure. Just thought you like to know.
Yeah, I feel off, but I'm not sure entirely what's wrong. So,
Okay.
but thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, just checking it
Alfred,
out.
roll perception.
Okay.
Oh shit, is there a Spinosaurus around? Quick, look at the doo-doo mound. Does anyone catch that reference?
I
or
get
just
I get
Jeff?
the reference.
I am so lost. What?
Jurassic
Park.
Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
And there's
Oh.
Satellite phone. It almost
Yeah.
sounded exactly like that, but it's
Yeah.
more like ba ba da 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 da, something like that.
Yeah.
No, that's my dryer.
Yeah. That's hilarious. As for you, Jeff, like Cyrene at this moment in time does seem just a little like paler, but she also was at the bottom of the ocean for a couple hours.
Yeah.
So she's probably still warming up.
Okay. Well, I'll leave you be till tomorrow. Basically, Cyrus is gonna talk with the guild or the council, and he's gonna see what they want us to do. So we'll leave a little while to relax in the back.
Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know, Alfred.
Yep. Head over to my room, or I shouldn't. Yeah.
As
Room
you're
here.
walking, you do smell some decent cooking happening in the kitchen.
I will go to the kitchen.
You see Zuka in there, and he's got a book in one hand, he's got a spoon in his trunk as he's stirring a pot of, it smells like some sort of like vegetable soup. And as you kind of look into it, there's only one vegetable in there, squash. And you're kind of like, you look at it, and you kind of squint a little bit, and you're kind of like, what? But it smells good.
Hey, Zuka, what you doing there?
Guinea pig. I mean, yeah. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? I'm just cooking up something good.
I give a nervous smile. Oh, good. Hey, what you making?
You know what? I've been reading this book, and I actually figured out I don't even know how to read it. Zuka throws the
Oh.
book behind him.
Yeah. You look at it, kind of, you're able to see it, Alfred, and it definitely calls for like at least 5 other vegetables, but there are 0 of those in there. Granted, the names are a little weird, and I do not have them. Do not ask. But
Okay.
but squash is one of the main ingredients.
Could I mage hand and pick up the book? I'm gonna use a thing for that. And read where he was at and see if I can help him find the other things he's looking for.
Roll intelligence.
Gotta get back to the page.
So as you're over here stirring your pot, Alfred asks, "May I help you?"
Sure.
He uses his mage hand and goes around, and he's able to get the other ingredients, including a bundle of herbs that you missed, and he puts it all in the pot, allowing you to still stir it. And at this point, after like 5 minutes of it cooking and starting to get a low simmer, it smells even better than it did before.
Oh, look at that. Oh, well, a little while longer. This should be ready to go.
Is that what the book says?
Let's see. What does the book say, Brady?
The book says it takes about 20 minutes after everything is in there of simmering, and then it just needs to cool off, which Zuka scoffs at. Ha! No need.
Okay. I tell him 20 minutes, but yeah.
Zuka does that thing when you you move your hand towards your faces to smell the
Oh
The
yeah,
wafting.
The wafting.
Yeah.
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 Ah.
Yeah, with your trunk right above it while you're stirring it, he still wafts, and you see him like licking the air as if he could taste it. And Alfred, you try it too, and you're like, wow, you can actually taste it in the air. What the
Nice.
hell were in those herbs?
Some of that good.
Mm. But yeah, you make a lovely meal. There's enough to serve everybody if you wish to go and gather your group, or you can eat it all yourself.
I'll let them sleep it off. That's my vote. And I take a bowl and I go to sit down.
Zuka does the same.
Okay.
Actually, no. Before he does that, Zuka goes into the hallway and just yells to everybody, "Food's ready!" And then he goes back and eats.
Anyone that wishes to go get a bowl of squash and mystery vegetable soup may. And it looks like Cyrene's taking it.
How much time has passed since we woke up? Or rested and woke up, rather?
So you haven't rested yet. Well, in theory, you've done a short rest, but you haven't done a long one yet. But since you woke up, it's probably been about 20 minutes. So like your conversation with Cassius only took like 2 to 5
Right,
minutes.
yeah. I meant more like a total time, including that short rest. My bad.
No, yeah. Yeah, you guys being unconscious, it would count as a short rest for sure. Even though you were unconscious, it's fine.
Sick.
Hmm.
I'm going to be fucking extra about this and dimension door to the kitchen.
Okay.
Zuka
I think
leans in
Rakan's
to Alfred.
gonna remain passed out then, if it was only short rest.
Also, in Ryu doesn't exist right now.
I didn't catch anything you said, Joe.
No, I was saying Zuka leans into Alfred and whispers to him, "Was that Cyrene that just walked by?"
I think so. And I'll look over. Yeah, she's just getting soup.
What? She's up? Why didn't you tell me she was up?
I mean, she said she was, gonna sleep it off, but I don't know. She looked like kind of pale, so she could probably eat something.
I
doing
have
good.
been summoned.
Oh boy.
Soup's
Yeah,
on.
you guys watch as Mirrodin just boom appears out of nowhere.
Oh, what an entrance! Hey.
Mirrodin obtains food.
Look who it is.
Hi, Zuka.
What? Where have you been? Never mind. I know where you've been. It's good to see you up and
I'm up at least. Has anyone seen the con yet?
Yeah, I talked to him. He's gonna rest. He looked kind of beat up a bit with his armor and whatnot.
Gotcha.
And he talked to Cassius and had a little conversation, and then Cassius left.
I heard you guys met one of my old friends.
Yeah, we did. He was nice up until the point where he kind of betrayed us.
Oh, I meant Keto. She grows
lady?
on you.
Oh yeah, I mean she may have been involved in extorting us a bit, but yeah, I guess she can grow on you when she's not doing that.
Zuka makes it obvious that he didn't like that one bit.
It's okay, Zuka.
She's not like you at all.
Pats him on the tusk. It's okay. She does grow on you, but yeah. And I'd prefer not to talk about Donbos, if that's all right.
No, yeah, perfectly reasonable.
So did you guys get a good look at the demon? What did it look like?
Large and eely looking.
With tentacles?
Yeah, but didn't really get too good of a look. I was kind of running for my life.
So that
Agreed.
wasn't a dream then. Okay.
No, it was definitely a thing. That was happening in this world.
Interesting. Well,
Okay,
I'm
well-
glad you all survived.
Yeah, you too. Oh, and apparently Sarah's told us there's a third demon lord that appeared.
What?
Yeah, next to these minotaurs in the northwest. So more and more are appearing for some reason.
Wait, a Minotaur Demon Lord?
Yes.
Oh.
Baphomet.
Baphomet was its name.
I'm gonna look it up, make sure
Wow.
I'm saying it right, but I think that's how the spelling goes. So
Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it.
it's not
But yeah.
Bahamut. That's the dragon.
That's the drug. Yeah, I've heard of Baphomet.
But yeah, we are going to have to look out for more of these in the future. More of these neutral parties all over the world are seemingly summoning their demon lords for whatever purpose. But until then, I guess we're just going to sit tight here till the council tells us what to do.
By the way, Doom's involved in this game since Doom is based off Baphomet. So armies of hell in our world now.
Is that really what Doom is based off of?
With the pentagram and whatnot, yeah, and the goat, the giant icon of sin head in Doom. Goat head, yeah.
Interesting.
There's going to be a giant guy in power armor running around.
Exactly.
Just fuck ass mad.
Rip and tear.
Well, let's hope that doesn't end up being an encounter you guys fight. Ooh, boy.
No, he
thank
doesn't
you.
hurt humans. No. He ignores humans, but he doesn't hurt humans.
Some of us aren't humans.
That's
Oh,
true.
okay.
Roasted.
He hurts demons. He hurts demons.
Cyrene, Zuka, Mirrodin, and actually Inryu all die.
Okay, he goes for the hellish-looking creatures or people that are allied with the hellish-looking creatures.
I mean, I am green, so I guess I kind of look kind of hellish.
No, the fuck you don't.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you don't look that bad.
You look
Sweet.
like a watery tart.
Wow, rude.
Roasted.
I'll accept that. That's fine.
So how do you know pirate friends? How do you have pirate friends?
And why are they so mean?
I mean, they're pirates.
I'm
But-
sorry, Zuka. I pat him on the trunk again.
I mean,
It's a long story.
well, I mean, if you have time, not forcing you or anything.
Y'all got
but
7 days. You got plenty of time. I'm just joking. Y'all don't know that.
Yeah. I'll tell you guys more about it later. Now that I'm done eating, I want to go rest some more.
Okay. Well,
Well, thanks for saving me.
yeah, no problem.
Yeet.
Okay.
So, Mirrodin, what do you think about our little group so far?
You're all alright.
Hopefully this isn't too much, It wasn't expected for us to see, the Demon Lords as well, but
2 demon lords.
2 Demon Lords at that.
Yeah, if we could, if I may make a request, let's not do that for the next, I don't know, month?
Forever? Month? Yeah.
At least.
We'll try.
I like to keep my average demon lord sighting down to at least 0, at most 0 per lifetime.
Yeah, I agree. Well, unfortunately, we're kind of well past that quota. We'll see how it goes, though. Well, thanks for the food, Zuka. Think I'm gonna actually head in now.
Yeah. No problem.
If you want to do some more cooking, just let me know. I'll make a mean sourdough bread.
Oh. Well, I guess I'll go in there and clean up. I don't really want to. So, out of character, is there a place we can store food here?
Yeah, you guys
Something
have
like a
like a magical ice chest that keeps things fresh, aka a refrigerator.
Oh,
Hey.
we got an ice chest, huh?
I'm gonna go clean up.
Okay.
Where's the sink at? Oh, here it is. I think this is the sink.
Yeah, you've got essentially a full kitchen, minus like modern day appliances like a blender and shit. So you have a place that you can use as a stove. It's not gas lit, but it's magic lit, which is pretty dope. You got the refrigerator, plenty of counter space to cut shit up, and a stove and an oven. If you guys are done role playing for this portion of the session, go ahead and take a long rest, and we'll somewhat kind of like have your activities kind of start since it's still early in the day. But you can go ahead and count your characters as having a long rest and getting all their stuff back. Lacan did
me
not
check.
see.
Okay. No, I don't believe I saw any visions, and I definitely heard. I don't know about different.
Okay, I was just checking.
You
Wait.
notice that Lacan is wearing his helmet, but not his chest piece. He's got like this sort of loose-fitted cloth armor underneath.
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad that we both survived.
Agreed. That was the last thing I can remember was having the creature entangled, but he did the same to me. And now we're here.
Yeah,
So it's good that we're both still around.
agreed. Well, I just wanted to check in on you, see how you were doing.
Well, I'll be doing better after some more sleep.
Good. Well, I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. I'll see you in the morning then.
See ya.
The bathroom's through this door. It's a very small bathroom.
I was thinking it
That's
was
a long
this.
ass trip to the bathroom.
Yeah, it could actually bathroom's right here.
I may as well just craft on my own and have to walk that far.
All right, so as you guys go through the rest of the day, a few of you, most notably Alfred and Mirden, actually who just stays for the rest of the day? Does anyone want to start their downtime now?
Well, once my long rest is over, yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever time that is.
That'll be late in the evening when you're done with your long rest and feel well enough to go and start.
Well, at that point, I would not put on the armor, but grab all the armor and carry it with me and head off to the forge.
Okay, yeah. While everyone else is still getting their long rest, once it's done, you guys hear a bunch of clattering coming from the end of the hallway, and you hear Lacan's door open and then shut, and then you hear clink, 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 clink as he starts walking down the hallway. If any of you were to poke your head out, he's still wearing his helmet and most of the lower portion of his body armor, but he doesn't have his chest piece on. And it looks like he's about to head out to go and remedy that situation.
And it's in the evening right now?
Correct.
How dark is it outside? Like, what kind of time in the evening talking about?
Y'all would finish a long rest at this point around 9.
At night.
Correct.
Okay. I'm gonna just stay here then. Because I don't think anything's really gonna be open, is it?
Probably not, no.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna stay here and hang out in the library and read books.
Okay. All right. So as Lacan heads out, for you, Lacan, your journey takes you. We'll go ahead and head to this screen. Your journey takes you to the forge that you've always kind of gone to in your time of need. Whenever you wanted to work on things and not have to worry about being pestered or anything like that. Especially because you've gotten to become such good friends with the shop owner. Let me see. Should have been the Dwarven Hammer. Right? Trondar is in your... Should be available for you to see, but when you get to the Dwarven Hammer via cart, you unload all your gear and you head on inside, and your pal Trondar is standing there over an anvil. Clink, clink, clink. He wipes the sweat off his brow and he looks over to you and he's like, "Gods be damned, what the hell happened to you, lad?"
I don't know if you'd be able to believe it. Was out on a boat heading east, and we got ambushed by sea creatures, and I have no idea what the hell it was, but it grabbed me with its tentacles and it crushed, and it was extremely painful. As you can see, this armor is bent all to hell.
I'll be damned, that's goddamn plate. And it crushed that.
Yeah, it
Lord,
nearly killed
be
me in the
with us.
process.
That's some scary shit. I don't think I'll ever go to sea anymore. Well, anvils
According
always...
to our comrades,
Oh, go ahead.
they apparently summoned a giant creature down there, but I was unconscious during all this, so apparently it's even worse now.
Yeah, fuck the ocean. Am I right? And his counterparts in the back all go, "Oi!" Well, Lacan, you know the forge is always open for you, lad. Take as much time as you need to repair your stuff, and if you need any help, just holler.
Will do. And whatever forge is like the least occupied, Lacan would dump all the armor there.
Okay. And for your next 7 days, you end up spending most all of your day here at the forge, tinkering with your armor, making it to where it's nice and shaped and fitted to your body dimensions. You start to add extra little tidbits to it to make it a lot different from what your other armor was, and make it more tactically sound and give you more versatility when it comes to the things that you're currently able to do as opposed to what you want to be able to do in light of recent events. You also end up going through and you're able to modify your weapon. You make it a lot larger, you make it a lot sharper, and you even get it to the point to where when you switch it to the whip, that you're able to actually hold it with one hand and ease of use. You practice on the training dummy that's outside and check to see how it goes, and it works wonderfully after your 7 days. During this time, it only took you about 16 hours total to finish your gear, and after that you helped out around the forge, as well as creating some items for other customers and making a good amount of gold that you put towards your own armor and stuff. I believe you've already deducted the necessary amount for your modifications, as well as gained the amount that you made while working for Trondar.
Correct.
Okay. And I don't believe there was anything else that you actually wanted to do besides that, correct?
Yeah, I was at Smithy the whole time, practicing the modifications, etc., while also crafting for customers.
So essentially what you all saw was every morning, pretty bright and early, you would hear Lacan as he clanked through the hallway, and he would head out to the forge, and he would come back about 16 hours later smelling like soot and coal and metal, obviously very sweaty, but His armor started to change with each passing day as he made other minor adjustments and modifications to it. And if you go to the Players tab, you should be able to see Lacan's new picture, which is roughly what his character should look like, sword included. And I believe he's got a skirmisher shield as well.
Spiky.
Nice.
Let's see. So going in order of alphabetical order, we'll go to Alfred. So Alfred spends most of his time doing some research and practicing a spell that he just learned in his spell book. Alfred, for you, I assume you use every spell slot at your disposal to practice that spell?
Yes.
So after about the 4th day of downtime, you finally learn the Mold Earth cantrip completely. So you no longer have to use a 1st level spell slot, so you can mark it on your sheet as a cantrip now.
Okay.
Otherwise, I believe Cyrene was going to help with learning about some of the demon lords. So she actually tags along with you for a couple of the days when you go to research them. And the things you guys find is that there's not a lot of books written about the demon lords individually, but what your research concluded was that you found that many of the monstrous races that exist today, so I'm talking like kobolds, I'm talking gnolls, the marrow, many of these kind of creatures exist because of the demon lord that essentially created them. What ended up happening was they weren't powerful, or they weren't, for whatever reason, able to come to the material plane themselves, so they were able to, like, essentially inject a piece of themselves into the material plane and let it manifest into the forms you see today. Are you packing something, Kirsten?
Uh-uh.
What is all that crinkly?
It was nothing. Here, I'll mute myself.
So one thing you know is that these monstrous races revere these demon lords as their god and would do anything for them. They would do everything short of summoning them to the material plane to do who knows what they want to do on the material plane. But you do know that in order for them to achieve this, it does require a lot of blood in a sacrificial rite. Other than that, you can't find any history of other demon lords that have come and gone from the material plane. You also can't find anything with this amount of time, or at least the resources at your disposal, on how to get rid of them.
Okay. So you said that this occurred from the 1st to the 4th day?
Correct. And then the rest of the time for you, as Alfred, you would research the other empires, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so as you see, I wrote down a little tidbit of information for every empire except for the City of Guilds. So one thing you know, the Vuberan Empire to the southwest of the City of Guilds, they're a major agricultural empire. They are known to produce the best wine, and they're also known to have many skilled alchemists and also druids that help cultivate all of their agriculture, which is why they've become so well known. You don't know if they actually have some sort of leadership system, but the rumor is that the druids are the ones that kind of rule the empire, although officially they do not claim such a position. The Sladora Empire to the northwest, they are a wild but strong people. Kind of think of a more civilized version of the Dothraki. They're also known as the Horse Lords. At least their leadership is known as the High Council of Horse Lords. Essentially, the whole area is a bunch of smaller tribes that have come together during the Thousand-Year War to fight off the Titanian Empire as they invaded their lands. If it had not been for the leadership getting them all together, they probably would be a large portion of the Titanian Empire. Most of their strength comes from their horses and their ability to fight upon horseback. And you know that their main, like, I guess, export to the world is going to be like livestock and things like that. Let's see. The Gusta Empire, which is the land to the very north, and I'll put you guys on the world map real quick, so you guys can kind of see and get a. So the Vubran Empire is over here. The Slidora is up here. The Gusta, they're over here, and you know them to be more of a seafarer people. Mainly because the Giant's Woods that they lived near are said to have trees that are miles long or miles tall, but there's this everlasting thick fog that makes it almost impossible to find your way through them. Especially the deeper you go, the more chances of you getting lost. And it's not unheard of for people to be banished to these lands after they perform criminal acts inside of the capital or any of the port cities. And this is their way of atoning, is to become forever lost. There's also talks of strange creatures and other peoples that live inside of those woods, but never leave the fog for whatever reason. They mainly produce a bunch of lumber and also produce a lot of the fish that you end up finding in a lot of the taverns and stuff like that around the world. Then you got the Yodian Empire down here to the south. You know that this is a proud elven race that was founded, most likely from what your books say, it was one of the first empires, if not the first empire. The tales talk about the current ruler being named King Paul, and he named himself King Paul to try to throw off his enemies for whatever reason during the war, and it kind of worked, as many assassination attempts were towards the wrong person instead of him, because his name was Paul, and it was hilarious. Let's see. You also know that the jungle to the south there, during the war, if people would go in there, they would sometimes come back with some sort of really hideous disease, normally fatal, and they had no idea why this was, so they would actually send these people as slaves to the other locations in order to make their general populace fall under this sickness and hopefully kill off a lot of people. It worked quite well until people started catching on, and they instead would end up killing these folks instead of taking them as slaves. You got the Cyrodiil Empire, which was founded on the white sands of the Withered Expanse, which is the desert there. You know that it is ruled by a noble family of Luxodon, and they live side by side with a proud tribe of orcs. On the map here and in the descriptions that you find, you know that this is the main city for the Luxodon, and this is the main city for the orcs. Although they do both live together in harmony, more orcs live in that southern location, and more Luxodon live in the northern location, because that's where they were from originally. Currently, you know that the king is named Aemon, and he holds the throne, and you also learned that the rite of passage for the kings and queens of the Cyrodiil Empire requires for the next in line to go on a pilgrimage. And essentially what this pilgrimage would do is it would take them all around the world to find something they could bring back to their people to make them stronger. Once they proved themselves worthy, they would immediately take the crown and start ruling over the empire. And rumor has it that the current, or the oldest son of King Aemon is currently out on his pilgrimage, though no one really knows where he's at right now. The Titanian Empire, over here in the red, you know them to be one of the strongest military factions in the world, thanks to their plentiful resource of metals and irons, as well as the smiths to forge it. Mainly, the populace is like mostly dwarven and human, and you've got a little sprinkle of other races here and there, but these make up a vast majority of their smiths and stuff like that. You know that the current king, Beldor, is very, very absent in the king's affairs. Even though he has the name of king, or the title of king rather, it's his oldest son, Cornelius, that essentially runs the kingdom. And they're also a very secretive people, hiding behind the mountains and their walls, keeping a lot of the people out. You know, from what you've read, it's almost impossible for anyone to get past their defenses without the proper permit. And even beyond that, there are other walls to get to their even more protected locations are required for only nobility and stuff like that. The Ciavitas Empire is known to be one of the smallest empires, and you know that their capital, from what you read, is actually on like a really, really tall cliff, which makes sea attack nearly impossible. The Twisted Woods to their south is home to very magical creatures and weird magics itself, to where if you aren't from this area, or if you don't know exactly what you're getting yourself into, if you stray from the beaten path, you're going to be lost forever, if not like completely changed. The location to the north, all that frozen shit, no one likes to go up there anyway. So the Ciavitas Empire has a really good prime location when it comes to being attacked, especially during the Thousand-Year War. And that leaves us to the Gusta Empire up there in the frigid wastes to the north. And you know, the people that live there, they don't really leave all too often, but when they do, they try to find as many strangers as they can to become friends with, because they just love to see new faces and hear about new tales and like cultures and stuff like that. There's not a whole lot of people that live up there, as not many folks can withstand that harsh of an environment, especially the cold. So it's almost as if they were absent from the war, but you're not really exactly sure if that's true or not. The final thing you know is that apparently, from what has been said, and this is all just a rumor, is that they have found out a way to create ice that never melts. But plenty of wizards and alchemists have gone from different empires to there to see this, and they've never seen anything. And even the people that live there claim that this is just a rumor and it's not actually true. The last thing that you read was about the Thousand-Year War and how it started, which you notice that it's kind of strange. You notice that a lot of the records have been either just misplaced or not kept or deleted or destroyed in some way, shape, or form. But every empire has a different reason to how the war actually started. Nothing lines up. The Vuberin will say that something happened, but the Slidora say that a different thing happened, which completely contradicts the other. And that kind of happens with all of the different various locations. So that's really weird to you. Other than that, that's what you find out, and you do start a little community garden as well outside of your guild, which you get pretty much like the location set out, and you start practicing your mold earth to really make it start to shine, and it's ready for plantation, as it is the time of flowers. So this is the perfect time to start actually planting shit.
I know I didn't bring it up before, but since there's more time from this point on, potentially, can I just start using Mage Hand instead of using Mold Earth as well to try to learn that one?
Yeah.
Okay. And would I be able to make my little mud fort?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time you guys go outside of your guild hall, you notice that Alfred is sometimes standing or sitting over there and like making a little garden area, and then you notice that he puts a lot of the excess mud and dirt into the form of like a little dome, and it says on the side, "No girls allowed." I'm just kidding. I don't think it actually says that, unless you want it to.
It says Fort Kickass.
Oh, that's right, Fort Kickass. You see a little kid named Will go there all the time. All right, on to Mirrodin. So, Mirrodin, as you started to mingle with a lot of the townsfolk, especially like the middle class, you found out a couple different things. As you were trying to find information about the Black Hand, you met a guard that's named Edward, and he typically serves as an entry guard over here in the Dark Arcade area, so right around here. This is the gate that he guards. Edward. Anyway, you heard some rumors from him at one of the taverns that apparently some of the guards actually work with the Black Hand as well, which kind of explains why they're so well informed about the city's ongoings and stuff like that. The strange thing is that they're so careful about what they do that it's almost impossible to figure out who they are. And the captains of the guard have been on watch trying to figure out who it is that's working with them, but so far to no avail. You also met the tavern keeper of Salador's Fine Provisions. His name is Salador Fairwind. He told you that one of his competitors, a group or two dwarven twins that live over near the Boneyard, which is the graveyard that's outside of the town that was there before they made the crypt. Somehow, even though they don't make a lot, or they don't have a lot of customers throughout the day, they're still out competing Salador, and he believes that it's probably because they're working with the Black Hand. The last contact that you were able to make was you met the Skywards, which were these two halflings that own gnomes, my bad. They're a married gnome couple that own a shop called Sylvana, and it's on the outskirts of the Golden Square. The Skywards typically sell a bunch of different fruits and vegetables that come from various forests around the world. And one thing that they were able to tell you as you were buying some of these fruits one day is that they've seen a lot of strange figures visiting a shop called the Gilded Ring, and it's happened, almost countless times during the day. And they always seem to be looking over their shoulder as if they feel like they're being followed. And you know that, trustworthy folks or people that have good intentions don't typically do that kind of thing. So that was some of the various information you were able to figure out over the course of your downtime. Oh, Alfred, I forgot one last thing for you.
Well,
while you were walking from the Imperial College area to head to the Artisan District one day, you noticed on the side of a tree, you noticed a golden doorknob. And you kind of thought to yourself, what the fuck? So you went over to it and you touched it and you felt a magical surge through your fingers. After you decided, okay, it's time to see if this thing opens, you did open up a door that was kind of hidden from view. And as you walked in, it's the magical shop that you've been looking for.
I finally found it after all this time.
And after you walk in, you notice that the shelves are empty right now, and you see your little gnomish friend sitting there and dusting all the shelves. And he kind of stops for a moment. He looks over your way for a second, blinks a few times, and then goes back to dusting. Sorry, we're closed for now. Actually, answer me this. And he starts to walk over towards you with his hands behind his back, looking at your feet, and he looks up. And then he looks down. You've been casting mold earth constantly. Why? Tell me, I must know.
Oh, just to commit it to memory so I can, effortlessly use it from now on?
Effortlessly, you say. He starts to rub his beard. Well, what can I do for you, mold earther?
Oh, I was just super intrigued by your previous encounter. I'm not sure if you remember. I
Oh, I
found you out
remember
and about.
everyone that comes through. I select them very carefully. Very
Oh,
carefully.
I was
Actually,
just
I don't select them at all. I think my shop does. Has a mind of its own.
interesting. I was just trying to figure out more about you and how to find you easier in the future. If, and
Well, when the
perhaps pick
shop
something up.
feels that it's right for you to come, they will show you the way. As you noticed, it is a doorknob that typically brings you here. So keep a lookout and maybe you'll be able to come when I'm actually open. And he kind of like
Yes,
stomps
yes.
on the floorboard a little bit, and you can hear a loud creaking, almost as if the shop is moving. He's like, "Okay, I'm sorry, dear." Shh, she gets a little tender.
I think I understand.
You notice that a bunch of other feather dusters start to appear in the form of mage hands as they start to dust the place. I'm almost done, but we won't be opening until tomorrow. Maybe you'll
That's
find me
certainly
then.
fine. That's fine.
What should I stock the shelves with for you, young man? Wait! And he closes his eyes and he points towards your forehead. I'm getting visions. Yes, you want... Really? You want one of those? Very weird. You know what? I think I know what you like. Don't tell me, because I want to see. Now, if you could, and he starts to like move his fingers in a get the hell out of here fashion.
Oh yes, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Alfred. And I put my
Yes,
hand down.
Alfred. Actually, hold on. He sniffs you again. Do you come from the Twisted Wood?
In a manner of speaking.
How many days since you last bathed?
Bathed. Oh, recently? Why?
You stink of the woods.
I mean, I've been making a little community garden recently.
He kind of like squints his eyes as if he's untrusting of you all of a sudden. Sure.
That's why I've been casting Mage Hand. So
That makes sense, actually. Yes, you are perfectly correct, Mold Earther. I'm glad you finally figured it out. Otherwise, I don't think I'd ever let you in here again.
Well, all right. Well, I'll leave you to your shop. Sorry to disturb you. It's nice meeting you.
You're perfectly fine. And as he starts to forcibly push you out of the shop, he goes to close the door, and you hear a clinking sound. And as the door shuts, he's like, "Ah, damn!" And then the door shuts, and the doorknob disappears. And in its place, you see this jade buckle fall onto the floor.
I pick up said buckle.
And you feel a surge of magical energy from it.
I will keep this until the next time I see him. He probably wants it back.
Okay.
I'm guessing it came off his belt buckle. And I'll go look at it when I get back home.
Okay. We'll get back to that in a moment. For Cyrene, you also went and got the same information as Alfred. With your powers combined, you were able to figure out a good amount about the Demon Lords. As for Donvis, you know that he was captured as he had approached you in your vision, and it has finally been revealed that he was the leader of the rogue organization Oceanus. And the only thing you can think of in order to get him free is to somehow prove his innocence or to break him out. And you're not quite sure if either of those is really what you want to do. But from what you remember from your vision, everything that he's done for your betterment. You decided to take a stroll through the town for a few days to explore and see what you could find. One location you went to was the Great Oak over here. And there's a small river that runs right next to it that sort of keeps the roots nourished, giving this tree life and stuff like that. And the ground is home to druids that live by the Great Oak, and they constantly keep flower beds watered. They grow various plants for herbs and stuff like that for alchemic use. And the thing you heard them say is that there's a dryad that lives within the tree, but for whatever reason, she hasn't spoken to them in years. But every time they use their magic, they're able to feel her presence. So you go ahead and you start using Druidcraft, and you too can feel the sort of natural force sort of guide you in your spell. It's really strange, something you've never felt before. When you head to the Golden Square, you notice that most of the lower nobility and a lot of the wealthy merchants live in this area, and it's filled with a bunch of stalls that sell luxurious goods such as silks and jewelry. The biggest building is known as the Ruby Palace, and it's the headquarters of the various trade guilds within the city. One thing as you investigated that you notice is that if you're trying to sell something in the city, you better go through them and get the proper permit. Otherwise, you did watch a couple people have to pay some hefty fines for selling goods, quote unquote, illegally. The thing after visiting this place most disturbed you, though, was that there's just something that seems off, as if people are too happy while they're here, as if it's being forced on some, or if some are faking it to sort of, I guess, give it a different sort of mask.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you find.
Okay.
Zuka, you have a letter that you got after you sent it. It arrived a few days afterwards. I will let you read it off. It's in... Do you see where Zuka's journal is?
Hold on. Yeah, I see it.
Okay. So I'll let you divulge any of that information if you want to. As you go back to your master, Drumdal Ray, you enter while he's doing an experiment, and you notice that there's this sort of black liquid that he's testing. Ah, Zuka, come. I'm actually experimenting with that poison you found right now. I've been researching it. Guess what I found?
Do tell.
Guess. That's why I asked.
Oh, I don't know. You found out where it came from, I guess? I don't know.
Unfortunately, no. But here's the thing. This poison it's created from a plant that's so ancient it was thought extinct. You know why that's weird, right?
The fact that it's extinct?
Correct.
But
But
somebody
somehow
has
this woman that you talk about, this woman that lives in the wood, somehow she has some. That doesn't make any sense to me. So here's what I propose. If she's got more of this, then if we were able to get our hands on it and possibly get the seeds, we could create this poison ourselves. Now, I want to make sure this is perfectly clear. In order to make the antidote, you obviously need the poison. We could mass fabricate this antidote and make sure that this terrible plant never sees the light of day in some sort of war to come in the future. But I don't feel that that is her gains, really, or what she's seeking. Maybe it's just something that she's able to use as a bargaining chip for those that seek to kill in the most lethal fashion. Regardless, would you like to go and speak with her and try to obtain another vial of the poison as well as the antidote, or should I?
Gee, I have no idea about that one. I mean, I would like to come with you if we could just go together. Going by yourself would not be ideal, honestly.
I'm sure I could take care of myself, Zuka. But you are right. Maybe another time. But for now, I'm getting close to being able to derive much more information from this poison. And and how it works. Maybe from there we can figure out our own antidote that would far exceed that of that terrible woman's. But yes, so far that's all I found out. Do you have anything for me?
So I'm just out of curiosity. So this poison is very strong, right?
Correct. It's especially potent to those of the arcane nature.
Do you think this could be used on demon gods, maybe?
I'm sure it could, but you would probably need quite a bit, because they're typically resistant to magics and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if that would counteract the poison's lethality, but I'd be down to try it. Do you know of any demon gods in the area? I'm just kidding. I know all about them.
I was about to say, do I?
Yes, it's a terrible tragedy that's been going on within the empires. But hopefully it stays to 3 and we're able to figure something out from the guildmaster.
Yeah, I'm hoping so, because it's starting to get out of hand. We got Onis running around, now we got demon gods.
Yes, quite strange times we live in, and it feels like we've only been at peace for just a few years. Well, thanks again, Zuka. This has been quite extravagant being able to research this and be in my lab again. Sometimes teaching you lads is a little more than it's worth. No offense, you are a wonderful student.
So, if you end up going to go see her, could you let me know?
Yes, if you're in the area, I definitely will, but it won't be for quite some time. Rosine doesn't want anyone going too far while we figure out what we're gonna do about these demon lords. So I'm on just as much of a restriction as you are.
Oh, okay. Well, if I end up going, I'll let you know as well.
Perfect. And he goes back to pouring his alchemic mixtures and stuff like that. Other than that, you go and you do a little bit of research. One thing you do find out about healing potions is you finally learn the recipe to making greater healing potions. You know what ingredients you need, you know the way to make them, and in order for you to make these potions, you would have to go and get 75 gold's worth of herbal ingredients, and it would take 30 minutes and an alchemic check to see if you successfully make a greater healing potion. They typically last just a few days longer than your other healing potions, about 12 to 13 days from what you read in the recipe. So you know that not only are they stronger than the healing potions you have been making, but they also last a little longer. If you would like, you can go and purchase from your current source of alchemic goods enough herbs to get 2 potions worth.
Yep.
Okay. So go ahead and deduct 150 gold, and then if you want to also roll 2 alchemic checks to see how well you make them, you can. But if you also, and we can say that you make them on the last day of the downtime, that way they don't spoil earlier when you guys are actually adventuring. But if you want to do that, just roll it, and then we'll go from there. As far as your dark vision research, you learned that the way that some creatures are able to see is that their eyes have this sort of arcane magic to them that sort of produces its own light so that they can see out to a certain range. You're not really sure what could replicate such a thing, but you've heard that there is a woman that lives near the Holly Oak, which is over here in the southeastern portion of the city, that has some sort of like cosmetics that she sells that allow you to see in the dark. When you went to the quarantine to go and see what was going on with that, you noticed that the walls are about as tall, if not taller, than the city walls themselves. And as you walk up to the gate, you see this really large, like 10 foot wide and like 20 feet tall wooden gate standing there in front of you with a bunch of different chains going and essentially wrapping the whole thing tight. And there's like 5 different padlocks, all of various sizes, mostly larger than your hand, fixated to this gate. As you go up to sort of investigate and see what's going on, you touch the locks and you feel a magical surge of energy coming from the locks. This to you indicates that it's going to take a lot more than any sort of physical means in order to get through this gate if you wanted to. So you start like touching around to see if there's any like loose planks or anything like that. And as you do, there's this large force that hits the other side of the gate and sort of like knocks you onto your back, and you kind of scurry away as the gates start to like wobble back and forth as they've just been slammed by something on the other side. This leads you to one of 2 conclusions. Either A, this is put in place to keep people out, or B, it's put in place to keep something in. From that, you're a little shook, and as you look around and see that no one is around you in the area to see that, you kind of just walk away from it. And that is the extent to what you found during your downtime. Let's see. And I believe that is everybody. Was there anything that I missed from anyone specifically that you wanted to go over with your downtime?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Real quick, I'm going to go use the bathroom. So let's take a 5-minute break real fast, and then we'll get back to it.
Okay.
All right.
Who's back?
I'm here.
I'm here.
Dope. Didn't think my downtime explanations would take that long. Whoops. Was that information overload? Should I keep it to just your journal entries, or did you like me going over it, kind of?
I mean, I sort of zoned out because I had already read the journal stuff.
Okay.
By the way, my journal has my picture in it, but I don't know if you wanted more in there or not.
I mean, your journal was it was essentially me just giving.
Well,
you...
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, for our encounter, though, was it anything that needed to be added?
Oh no. No, that you've actually had that journal since session 0, so.
Yeah, I know that part's been there. I just didn't know if you added anything and I'm clicking on the wrong one.
Oh no, I didn't, because ours is all pretty simple. Or your downtime was really simple. Zuka, add 2 greater healing potions to your inventory, and put that the spoil timer on them. Let me get that time. Oop. Let's see, 12 days from the what is it, the 18th? Put that they spoil on the 30th. Or wait, actually no. It'll be the 26th when you guys are finished with downtime. Put that they spoil on the 8th. And other than that, you're good to go. Correct. So as you guys are waking up for the day, I would assume you guys do your normal routine, probably getting some breakfast and stuff like that, when Saris appears before you all. Well, everyone, we've been told that so far there's been no other demon lord sightings, whether they've been summoned or whether they're just walking around. No one's seen them. We've sent groups to go and search the locations that we know of anyway. We asked the merfolk leaders to send someone to that temple, and everything's completely abandoned. The city of Crom that you guys went to, no one's there. Everything's burnt down, and it's almost as if they vanished without a trace. Quite troublesome, honestly. So we we honestly have no idea what they're planning, what they're even doing here. So our orders are to go about our business, to keep an eye out, and report immediately if you do see anything. Saris gives Alfred a scroll. This is a scroll for the spell of sending. I would recommend, instead of using it for once, I would spend a little bit of time to transcribe it to your spellbook.
Oh, thank you. I certainly will. Thanks.
Yes, it would be... I recently learned it too. It's how I was able to figure out exactly how or where your group was when they were lost at sea. This will ensure that we're able to keep communications between the group as long as you have the necessary spell slots.
Well, thank you again.
He goes over to the board and looks at it. Weren't you all doing the buzz off mission?
I'm not quite certain if we decided on a specific one.
Yes.
Let's
That
take
was
a-
when we were waylaid.
If I'm not mistaken, they've been capturing people. Yes, he starts to point at the paper.
Capturing who?
Well, random citizens and folks like that. From what we've been told, the Gusta Empire has posted this contract specifically, as they're worried now with the ongoings of these demon lords being summoned that this might be the next one.
Okay, well, we can certainly look into it.
It'd be
All the other
perfect.
the other contracts, they all seem to be on separate continents for different nations. So
Correct. I felt that maybe you all wanted to diversify yourselves. But yes, I would
No,
say that
yeah.
this one will probably pay the most, in all honesty, if gold is what gets you going.
Yeah.
Would it be wise to travel on the sea?
Well, that's the strange thing. Like I said, nobody's seen Dagon or the Marrow in quite some time, not since you all reported it. We've gotten information from most of the trading guilds as they come into port that the seas actually seem calmer now than they ever have. Granted, take that with a grain of salt, but I feel that they attacked you for a specific reason, more than likely, that day. And now that they've got what they needed, they've gone quiet. I agree, Mirden. It does not make any sense at all.
well, we can't just
Hey,
sit here and do
Cyrene,
nothing.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Was that other watery tart that got captured by the Marrow someone of royal bloodline?
You mean the one that was sacrificed?
Yes, that's the one.
Yes. She was from a noble family as well.
Oh, okay, never mind. That does make sense. Carry on.
Well, we can't just let fear of the unknown stop us. So I feel like we have to cross the water at some point.
Alfred, is it really fear of the unknown if we know exactly what's out there?
Well, I mean, we don't know where it's at the exact moment, you know. But maybe you're right. So, Saris, do we have a ship we can charter, or?
Yes, actually. Drown has gotten his ship refurbished and everything, and he should be able to take you over. He said that you all were quite helpful.
I'm surprised he's going to be excited to see us again.
Well, I don't believe that it was your fault in particular that all of that happened. In fact, I think because you were there, he was able to avoid that hefty bill that the pirates had given him, from what he's told me.
I prefer the word extortion, but you know. All right. So when can we head out?
Whenever you're ready. The restriction to where you're allowed to go has been removed, so you're free to go about as you will.
Hey.
Sounds good. Um, do you know how far of a boat ride this is?
Well, if the winds are favorable, it shouldn't take you more than a day.
All right.
From what I've been able to learn is the winds are blowing south currently, which honestly is kind of the direction you're headed, so I believe you should be there within a matter of hours.
All right. What time is it currently?
It's the morning, so about 8 o'clock.
Okay. Well, is there a way we can send a word to the docks to let them know we're coming?
Just head there, and he hands you a little slip, and he's like, "Give that to Drown, and he'll take you where you need to go."
All right. Thank you. Thank you for everything so far.
Oh yes. He looks over to Zuka. Yeah, I'm sure you're quite eager to see your home again. You do come from the Cyrodiil Empire, correct?
Yes, I.
Well, I'm sure your family will be quite excited to see you.
I got a question though.
Yeah.
So I took a personal trip down to the quarantine, and I was quite surprised that I couldn't go in.
Surprise?
You know any?
Why would you even want to go in? It's a quarantine.
And that's what I'm trying to find out.
Well, from what I know, and my knowledge is limited as I haven't really tried myself, the quarantine probably happened about a decade ago. It used to be a small little subsection of the city of Guilds where many of the lower income folk lived. Something happened, some sort of disease, but we couldn't find a cure for it. So naturally, what they did was they made a temporary holding for those that were sick. Anyone that did contract this disease were sent there. They were given plenty of food and water to survive, but more than likely, it only took a few days for them to finally die. Eventually, the city was able to build a large wall and close the gate permanently with the help of magic to ensure that this disease is contained until we find a cure. And I'll be honest, I do not believe anyone's looking.
What the hell?
If you were to see it from a sky perspective, you would notice that some sort of tree has grown inside, as you can't see within it at all because of the leaves. We're not sure if this is some sort of way of nature possibly taking back what was once it or hers, or what. But it is probably one of the most interesting locations in all of the city, and it's the most mysterious at the same time.
If we wanted to go in, how would we go about doing?
You wouldn't, unless you had some sort of teleportation to get on the other side, or I guess perhaps you could scale the wall and drop in, but I'll be honest. The amount of time that place has been left untended, especially with that disease and all the dead, there's no telling what's beyond that door. Could be nothing, but it could be something.
Dang, so we have to. So you're saying only way to get in there is by. As he says that, Zuka goes up to Mirrodin and Alfred and kind of like elbows him and nudges him a little bit. And, you know what I'm saying?
What are you talking about? You just nudging me at all?
Heed my warning, Zuka. I understand that you're very curious, but curiosity does kill the cat. I understand you're an elephant, so it doesn't quite work the way it... The point is, if you go in, do it at your own discretion, and know that no one is going to come in there to save you.
Alright, thank you.
You're perfectly welcome. Well, you all be safe out there. Look forward to your return. Then he nods and starts walking away unless anyone else has anything to say to him.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay, so as you guys are sitting there, what do you do?
Well, I hope you guys are ready to brave the water again.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. Well, I'm ready to go if you guys are.
Yeah, let's head out.
Okay, so you guys head on over to the docks, and you remember where Drown has his ship, and as you go over there, you notice that it's gotten a fresh new coat of paint. A lot of the work that the pirates had done on it had left it like with a bunch of multiple colors. Kind of like those beat up cars that you see on the road that have like 7 different colors of paint because they got like 7 different parts from the junkyard. But now everything's uniform and it looks nice. And Drown's currently sitting on his on the deck of the ship, kind of feet up, and he's just enjoying a nice little cigar. And as you guys start to walk over, he looks in your direction, lets out a puff, and starts to stand up. Damn it! I assume you're all coming with me?
That's the plan. I assume you're very thrilled that we're coming with you.
No. It's perfect. You were all great company. I just really hope that it's not your presence that caused that attack the other day. But I actually have sailed to a couple different empires over the past few days, and nothing's happened. The ocean's been relatively quiet lately. I've even heard the fishermen say that they're catching a lot more fish, especially the deep sea ones.
Oh, that bodes well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great harvest for them. Brings us more income. So, win-win, I say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shall we be to it?
Lead the way.
Okay. So, as you guys, let's see, it would normally take, 90 miles. Yeah, you're able to make it in about 6 hours because the wind is heading south, so his sails are able to catch it this time, as opposed when they were going north, it was a lot harder, which is why it was going to take a day and a half. As you guys are sailing, is there anything anyone does specifically?
Could I have summoned my owl beforehand?
Correct.
Okay. I will summon him, I shall summon Frederick from my pocket dimension and let him fly about.
Okay. Frederick seems to be quite happy to be flying and being
Yo,
able
we're
to
gonna bring
spread
out
his wings.
Toidio.
Alright, Toidio also comes out, the nice little pseudo-dragon. He has a fly speed, right?
Ooh, I love Toidio.
So yeah, Toidio comes out and he starts to fly around with your owl, Frederick, and it looks like they're playing together and having a good time. Toidio accidentally drops one of his berries and then they both do a dive bomb. Both of you roll a dexterity check for me for your particular familiars to see who catches the berry.
Okay, let's see. Dexterity, you said?
Correct. So Jeff's owl dive bombs without flapping his wings, and he's moments away from grabbing this berry before Todio just all of a sudden, you see like a puff of like fire pop out in front of Frederick's face, where he like sort of dives out of the way trying to avoid it, and Todio comes up, grabs the berry, and instantly starts munching on it. He's got juices flowing down his face, and he some sort of noise that he makes. I don't know what he does when he's happy.
Nimble little fella you got there.
Of course.
Any particular? So does he always have a berry with him, or do you give him those berries, or where do they appear
Todio is
from?
the Lord of Berries.
What does that mean? I'm confused. Does he just have berries he pulls from like a random space, or?
Look, I don't ask too many questions about it.
Okay. No, just curious.
So you guys notice Lacan during this boat ride stays under the deck the whole time. Cyrene is virtually carefree as she looks over and gets the nice spray of ocean every now and again, and is just enjoying the sea breeze. I don't know what Zuka's up to. Probably chilling. One thing you guys did notice, by the way, after the downtime, is that Lacan's armor looks extremely different. Or actually, no, we did go through that, didn't we? That was the first thing I went through. Never mind.
Yeah,
My bad, I forgot.
it's all fine.
Yeah, actually, all the rolls were very low, so nothing happened. You guys do start to see seagulls, which is a good indicator that you're getting closer to land. And after about 30 more minutes or so, you guys do pull into the port of the Zerodel Empire. And as you guys are coming into port, you notice there's a bunch of Luxodons and orcs that are sort of running around the port doing various tasks. A few of them get on both sides of the ship and start throwing ropes over towards you guys for you guys to sort of grab up. Drown tells you, tie that one to that post, you tie that one to that post, and you guys start to help them out and doing stuff. And the boat comes to a complete stop, and a sort of like wooden little bridge is put onto the ship so that you guys can get off easily. And as you come down, there's a Goliath gentleman that's standing there with a big ass club on his back. Let me find him. He looks like... Is this him? Yeah. He looks like this. Oh wait. I have to make it visible to you guys. Then I can show you what he looks like. Did he pop up?
Does he have the signature on him too?
No.
Or is that maybe that too?
No, he doesn't, but... let me find one thing real quick. As you guys start to pile off of the boat, you see this gentleman standing there, arms crossed against his chest. Everyone roll me a perception, perception check. Except for Zuka. Zuka doesn't need to. So,
whoops.
Cyrene and Mirrodin, you both know that this gentleman is a Goliath. These are one of those monstrous races you've heard about, but they're more tribal and don't really do much when it comes to prayer. They typically pray to the spirits and stuff like that, as opposed to demon lords. You know that their history doesn't really involve demon lords at all. But as you guys all pile off, you guys see that Zuka's sort of readying himself to get off the boat. And as he steps up, Rakim! And you see this guy start to run up the little plank, and you guys are all like, what the fuck? This dude's a beast. And you sort of jump out of his way, and he tackles the shit out of Zuka. And mind you, Zuka is pretty tall, I believe, right, Gerald?
Yeah, he's 7 foot.
Yeah. And this guy is probably a little bit shorter than Zuka. And Zuka's also just a little bit bigger just because of how tall he is. And this guy tackles the shit out of Zuka. Like, there's no chance for Zuka to avoid this at all. And he goes down. And you watch as this guy gets him in, like, a headlock and starts to noogie him, like, real hard. And you can see Zuka trying to, like, pry himself out of this chokehold. And he's like, I missed you, Rakim! Been too long! Haha! 3 years? More than that, I think. How you been, buddy?
Get up, like get up. Get
Oh,
off me.
yeah.
No.
He gets off Azuka and then puts out a hand to help you up.
No, Zuka gets up with them.
I've been missing you. Things a lot different without your character around. Lot boring.
Oh, really? From what I can tell, it's been a lot going.
Some, not much. Not for me, anyway. Who friends?
Oh yeah.
He goes up to Cyrene. Who blue one? Very pretty. Who this one? Big forehead, and he points to Alfred.
Hello there.
Look at the
Hi.
tin can, and he starts to with 2 knuckles. He sort of does a knocking motion on Lacan's arm. Ooh, spiky, very hurt. Ooh, look at Fabio, and he points to Mirrodin.
Yo, Abel, chill. I'll introduce you. Give me a sec.
Still wait.
So Zuka, Zuka introduces it.
Okay. Ah, Lacan, and he puts out a hand for you to shake.
He'll extend his hand carefully as to not spike him.
I see you guarded very well. Does it help?
We'll find out. Further new addition.
Ha! Very good. New is always fun. He held out a hand to Mirrodin. I apologize for Fabio joke. He's somewhat of a legend around
Perfectly
here.
fine. Mirrodin will shake his hand.
Very soft skin, though. Good. Lotion good. He goes up to Alfred. Ha! Big forehead, and he flicks your forehead, and you're kind of like, oh, fuck.
I cast Mage Hand. I go to shake his hand, and then I cast Mage Hand and flick him back on his
Ooh.
forehead.
Trixie won this one. Ha ha! I see why Zuka, Rakim, likes this one. And then
I think
you, my lady, and he holds out his hand as if to kiss your fingers or whatever that bullshit is that they do in royal society.
She holds out her hand.
And he kisses it. You almost look just like the ocean.
Well,
But
thank
you're
you.
not.
I'm from there.
He kind of pokes his chin. Very interesting. Do all people of your make come in that color?
No.
What are the colors? I love colors. And he actually has a little tool belt, and he opens it up, and you see what would represent crayons in this day and age. And he pulls them out. I have 7 color, but I don't have your color.
Well, there's purple people. There's
He
blue
looks,
people.
I have purple. I have blue. But I
And there's
don't
even
have
other
your
colors
color.
that you don't have.
How many colors there are?
So many.
Huh! Rakim! We have to find the color. Will you help me now that you're back?
Maybe later. But until then, we are here on
Yes,
important
official business. I was told that you'd be here. I've been waiting for 8 days.
Dang, man, seriously?
Yes, in that very spot. Haven't slept, very tired. But Rakim is here, and he beats his chest. Now Abel can get sleep and food. Abel loves the food. Does Rakim miss the food?
You know I missed the food.
Then let us go and make a short stop on the way home to your parents. If that's okay with everyone else, I show you the best place. Small
I would
shack.
love to meet Zuka's family.
Very good, very good. I like the blue lady. But I ask, why is your hand so cold?
The trip was cold.
No one else hand cold. Well, maybe Tin Can Man, I'm sorry, Lacan. But that's 'cause of the metal. Metal plus the sea equals cold, don't you see?
Bars.
Rakim, let us go then. I have multiple horses ready. And camel too, for when we hit desert. And you notice that at the end, it's a relatively small dock. It can probably harbor 10 ships at a time. And it's not really much of a village per se. It's more of like a harbor master's location and a few warehouses for people to store their goods after they just dock, getting them ready to ship to the various locations in the desert, which for Zuka, he definitely knows that there's not too many places. But for you guys, you would know that the desert is normally one of those more harsher climates, a lot harder to live in, but these guys have been doing it for a while, so they've got it down to a science. This way, everybody! Has Blue Lady ever seen camel?
I have not.
Ooh, let me show you trick. Stand in front of it and stand still.
Okay.
Okay, so Cyrene gets in front of it, and the camel's sitting there, like, chewing on some hay. Alright, you ready?
Ready.
And he takes his hand and smacks the camel's ass, and it spits in your face. Roll
Rude.
a dexterity check to see if you dodge out of it.
Okay.
You guys watch as this massive camel loogie like just propels from the lips of the camel straight to Cyrene's face, and almost like the Matrix, she just dodges out of the way, and Abel's like, "Oh, Rakim!" And he points to the blue lady. That's your wife in the future, huh? She very dexterous, that good.
Yo, like, calm
Rakim,
down.
I get why Rakim go to peacekeepers now.
Can we just go? Can we go? Abel, let's go home, please.
No, Rakim. Yeah, we got to eat first. I've been hungry for 7 days. Only get to eat any seagulls that come by too close to Abel. And I only get to drink from the seawater as it splashes in the face.
That's awful. Like, come on, man. Let's go. Let's go.
Abel had order from the king, and he did not disappoint. You can tell him yourself.
Will do.
So you guys grab a seat onto a cart that takes you. Let's see, how long is this place? Takes you about 12 miles to the first little village, and it's just that. It's kind of like, it looks like it's mainly a trade town, like a lot of merchants and stuff trade, but most of the things that you see there are more luxurious items, gems, silks, vases, and stuff like that. As you go by, Abel goes, and now we get to the fun part. Time for the camels. This time they don't spit because I don't smack them. Sorry, blue lady.
You're forgiven.
You guys switch over from horseback to camelback and start going. And even though there's like, you can tell that in the sand there is a definite path, but it's not like paved or anything. So as you're going, you can feel how different the ride is via camelback from horseback. And you can also understand sort of why they do this switch. It's a lot easier for the camels to get from one location to the other. But it takes a couple more hours, about 6 hours via camelback to get to Zerodel, and you guys get there probably around 5 o'clock in the evening before you arrive to the capital. And as you guys arrive, Abel goes, "Rakim, it's your home, your future. Are you ready to show your face again? The people be mighty excited to see you, my friend. Mighty excited.
I don't think I'm ready.
In fact, he puts a hand over his ear. Do you hear them?
Do you hear the people sing?
Do I hear them, Brady?
Yeah, you all actually hear a lot of cheering coming. Like as you guys get closer to the gates, you're probably like a couple 100 feet out. And as you guys are swaying back and forth on camelback, you guys get closer and closer, and you can just hear like a really large group of people like shouting. You guys are coming from this direction. And you notice that outside there's a bunch of like little temporary tents that have been set up, and there's a bunch of people, like hundreds of people are out here, and they're all shouting and cheering, playing music, clapping their hands. And as they come by, Abel sort of stands up on his camel. "I introduce once again King to be Prince Rakim, fabulous he. I'm joking. He doesn't sing that, but he
No,
says,
I want that to happen.
"Oh,
Exactly.
okay." In that case, let me get that song. That'll be dope.
And
I look up.
it
I
has to
look
be
over
from the
to.
new movie.
I look over to the news. I look over to Zuka and say, "You're royalty as well, huh?"
Yeah.
And why is he calling you Rakim? What does that mean?
Well, clearly that's his actual name, and Zuka is his alias.
Yeah.
You've been. I feel lied to.
Tricky.
Trust me, I wanted to tell you guys, kinda, but I didn't want it to be like this.
I mean, you got a little parade going on here. Everybody's super happy that you're back.
Really?
Yeah. So as you guys ride in on camelback for Prince Rakim, say hey to Prince Rakim.
I kind of get the vibe that they're not going to let you.
I know, right? Anyway, so as you guys are riding through, everyone is like shouting, "Oh, Rakim, thank you for coming home. Oh, Rakim, we can't wait to see what you've brought us. Oh, Rakim." You know, all these things, and Zuka's just sitting there kind of uneasily, like waving to everybody. And then Abel, he starts to like lean back towards Rakim. "Why, Rakim, nervous, huh?"
Oh man. Oh, can y'all hear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I just don't. It feels weird. It just feels so surreal.
That makes sense, Rakim. But I assure you, the king and queen have been missing you, so have your siblings. Alright.
Yeah, I'm sure they have.
But yeah, that's Prince Rakim. Fabulous he. Man, that shit's funny. Let's see. Let me get that other song back going. Okay. So yeah, as you guys go through, there's like a whole like parade of people as you guys get through from location to location, and you get towards the middle of the town, which is where the palace is. And one thing you do notice that the architecture is very like square and flat. You're not really sure why that is. It's a little different. I forget the exact reason why they did it in Arab countries and stuff, but you guys do get to the palace, and as you do, you notice that there's the guards are almost half and half Luxodon and half orc. And I'm not talking half orc, I'm talking full-blooded orc. And you notice that these are a lot bigger folks than the half orcs that any of you have ever met. But they've all got these nice sort of gilded plates of armor that they use in various greens and golds as they wrap around. Their helmet hides most of their face, and the Luxodons, like their helmet actually protects most of their trunk as well. It's actually quite cool to see. But as you guys start to get into the center courtyard, you notice a few things. You notice that this place is probably by far the most luxurious location you've ever been. The silk banners that are all over the place, the pots of flowers of various colors, even some flowers that none of you have ever seen before. You guys finally get to sort of the center courtyard, and you see a group of Luxodon standing there, as well as one male orc and one female orc. And they're all kind of standing there chatting, and Abel sort of jumps in front of the group and starts walking. "My king, I bring you Rakim, your son." And you see the... Oh, it's playing again. Whoops.
Good timing, though.
I know, right? That
Facts.
was perfect. That
Perfect
was
timing.
really good. But we'll just go back to this song. It's easy to keep it to one song when I'm using Mr. DJ. Let's see. Right? Is that how you say it, Gerald? Am I actually
Yep.
saying it wrong?
No, that you're good. You're
Okay.
good. That's
It sounds really good when I use Abel's voice for that.
How do you spell Abel, by the way?
Abel. So the king, as you notice, he's the larger Luxodon. He turns around. "My son, it has been so terribly long. Come in." And he sort of runs up to you and gives you a nice big hug. "So good to see you, and in perfect health, I assume."
Oh yeah. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, my king? How's everything going here?
"You can put the pleasantries aside. I am your father. It's been far too long for this king thing. Plus, you are to be the new king here soon."
Yeah.
After your father, he sort of steps out of the way, and you see your mother come up. She's moving a lot slower than usual, at least from what you know. It has been 3 years, but she comes up. "My son, I've missed you so dearly. It has hurt ever since you left, but I know that you'll come back a lot stronger and ready to lead our people. So good to have you home."
Queen Nabella, what's wrong with you? I'm happy to see you, but you don't look yourself.
Age has been achieving me rather quickly. Uh, Not quite sure why, but my legs have trouble moving. Your father sort of interjects and he goes, "It's just the weather, my son. sure the alchemist will and the shaman will be able to figure it out. After all, the orcs have been dealing with it daily. And sometimes it's good, other times not so much.
Mm. Can you say that
see,
last part again?
about her condition.
Yes.
Yeah, the orc shamans have been tending her to her daily, and some days she feels a lot better, but other days not so much.
Oh, okay. I may have something for that, hopefully.
As we all are, but we must just wait. It only started a few months ago. It's nothing, not too big a deal. I don't have to make appearances as much as I used to. Well, Rakim, I'm sure that you're here on official business for the peacekeepers that you were sent to. Tell us about your mission, son. All of you, are you hungry, thirsty? Wine, beer?
Cyrene bows formally, and she says, "Thank you for welcoming us."
Yes, any friend of Rakim is a friend of mine.
Also, Rakim turns around, or Zuka turns around, and just kind of like whispers to the guys or to the group, "Please don't, please don't do anything crazy."
Define crazy, Zuka.
Yeah,
Don't
Rakim, the
worry.
craziest man I know. Abel, that will be enough for today. If you could, just stand and wait for us to have our time with our son and his guests. Yes, my king, I will be only a word away. And he bows and then walks out of the courtyard, giving you guys your privacy. So, Rakim, this mission you're on that brings you to Cyrodiil, does it happen to be about the Tusculi?
Actually, it does. It's the one that you sent in, correct?
Correct. Well, not me personally, but, our guildmaster here did send a request. Apparently, trade down to the southern outpost has been assaulted over the past week or so. And it's because of the Tusculi, which typically they keep to themselves, only lashing out in times of need, but in the past we have traded peacefully. So we're not sure what is driving this, but with the recent events, well, there's no telling now, especially after your notes, your letters. Demon Lords, what is this about?
Oh, it's a long story. I have to inform you, I guess, on another time. Also, have you talked to the Orcish tribes about any of this? Have they noticed anything?
You notice, what's his name? Bozan?
Bazan, yeah.
Bazan. So you notice Bazan, he walks up. For character reference, let me get these. Did Amon pop up for everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So that's Amon, that's what he looks like. And then there's this really large orc standing next to him. This is Bozan.
Gertrude? Is that you?
No, I'm Bozan. Commander of the orcs, leader of our armies. Well, somewhat. Royal guard to the king and queen, and the royal family. Pleasure to meet all of you. I'm glad you've kept my prince safe. Can't imagine how many scouts I'd have to send out to pick your bones if he were to die on your watch. Boson, quite rude in front of our guest. Sorry, sir, my king, but it's how I feel.
It was no trouble keeping him alive. He's actually helped us quite a bit in our travels so far. He's been the one keeping us alive, actually.
So, Rakim, in that case, did you find the secret for your pilgrimage already? Or are you still searching?
Honestly, I feel like I'm still searching. So, no. We're pretty much here on official guild business.
Well, the throne is waiting for you, my son. I cannot wait for the day to crown you. And I hope it to be sooner than later. But I understand. It seems that you have a great many problems to solve for the world. And I feel that when you do solve them, that it will be better for our empire at the same time. It does not need to be rushed. I am only curious. What have your studies been in?
So if you want to, so Zuka pulls out his alchemy set and he just starts making like a bunch of different things.
Oh, wow. Medicinal or otherwise?
Honestly, it's pretty much anything I put in my mind. So so now Zuka hands everybody coffee, the little espresso shots. So
Okay.
everybody gets one.
So you guys, you can take it or leave it. But for those of you that drink for the next minute, you can run 10 feet per round faster.
Nice.
You can hear from like afar. You can hear, "That's my Rakim." That Abel is something else. He has missed you almost more than your mother and I have, Rakim.
I can tell. That's my man, though.
That's very true. He has been waiting literally in the same spot, from what I've been told, for 8 days.
Yeah, that's what he said. Why did y'all let him do that? That's not good.
Well, my orders were for him to wait for you at the docks for your arrival, and I forgot to tell him that if you didn't show up, for him to go and get some rest when he needed it. You know how Abel needs specific, very specific instruction.
Yes, he's very, very, very literal.
But the fact that he is able to survive for such a long time without any food or water, well, it shows why he's our most trusted asset. And a very good friend for my son.
Hmm. True, true, true.
The best of friends. Rakim. I just like saying that name. So as the time goes by, the servants come by, and the servants are a mixture of Luxodon and Orc. You can tell that they don't really. They try to diversify everything in this city as best they can, but they bring you various like cheese platters, wine. For those of you that don't like wine, they bring ale. They bring different treats and stuff like that. So like fruits and a couple of like cheese platters with crackers and stuff like that. Very fancy shit. You guys probably spend about an hour or so catching up before your father or your mother starts to cough violently. My dear, son, it's probably best that you all go and fulfill your contract. Don't worry about her. We'll take her to the shaman and see what's going on. Try not to let this weigh on your mind, my son. And you see him lift up his hands, and a few of the guards come up and start to sort of help carry her weight as they bring her to a different location. I am sorry you had to see that. Your mother's condition. We're not completely sure what's going on, but it started a little after you left, actually. I'm almost certain it's the stress of her little boy going out in the world and her not knowing, and it's started to fester up into something that's worse. We have no idea what the treatment is, but the shaman has been helping her ease through it. She does seem to get better every day, and I think this might just be a little much for her, all the excitement of you coming home.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'll definitely check up on her later.
Well, my son, it was really good to see you. But I've always been there with the shaman to oversee the procedure, as if to learn anything. I will have Abel take you to your quarters for your stay, at least while you're here in the capital. And if we're not able to see you when you go off, hopefully when you return victorious, we could see you before you head back home. If it's not too much trouble. And he looks to the rest of your group and is kind of asking for their approval.
Of course, we'll come say goodbye before we leave.
Yes.
That would make me and my wife quite happy. Well, Rakim, if we don't see you before you leave, best of luck. Be safe and keep being the son that I always knew you were. And he smiles and gives you a nice big hug. And you watch as he kind of he does this weird thing with his trunk, which you can tell is very, it's only done by Luxodons that are very close to each other. It's like an intertwining of the trunks, kind of like a handshake, but because the trunk is so, I guess, well kept by the Luxodon, you can tell that this means something special. And then he walks away with Bonzo at his side. Wait, Bonzo? Boson. Boson at his side, and they walk away. And then Abel, well, Rakim, shall we go tear up the town before you leave? Like old times, eh? Or do you have to go to work already? You just got here.
Yeah, we definitely gotta go to work, but trust me, we'll catch up before I leave for sure.
That better be a promise there, Rakim.
I got you. I swear. Promise.
Okay.
So, and also, Zuka leans in, and him and Abel do like a secret handshake that nobody knows.
Okay, so you guys watch as they do this really quick movement with their hands, and then Zuka does something with his trunk, and it looks like it's very well coordinated. And even though they haven't seen each other in 3 years, the fact that they still got this just shows the bond that they share. So after doing that, he takes you to a location that's not far off the premises. It's still within these inner walls. Let's see, I think it's 27? No. I think it's 6. Yeah, the Unbreakable Dome. That's like... Or no, it's still in the palace. Your room is in the palace, my bad. But he takes you to your quarters and stuff like that. Well, nothing has changed since you left, my friend. As you can see, you still got your blankie over there. Can you believe Rakim sleep with blankie? It baffles. It's hilarious, really funny. And it got the duckies on it too there, Rakim. I forgot about the duckies there.
Zuka punches Abel in his shoulder.
As he
You said-
punches Abel, you guys see Zuka blush. The goddamn ducky's there.
Didn't he leave home like 3 years ago?
That's the funny part about it. Hey, hey, big forehead man, understand. You too smart there. He kind of bends down to get on your level. How much do you know?
About what exactly?
About everything. Can you
Ah.
read mind? What I think
I'm
now
working on
there.
it.
Answer right, or I flip
No, I'm
forehead.
working on it though.
No,
I'm
no,
working
no,
on
no.
sending.
Look me in the eyes and tell
Okay,
me
I
what
look.
I'm thinking.
I stare into the windows of this man's soul,
Okay.
and
you say, bitch?
I say, bitch, I don't know what you're thinking.
Damn, he good. I didn't know what I was thinking either there. He's a really good man you guys got. How you guys ever get defeated with this guy on your side, huh?
They take me out first and throw me into water, and I gurgle, gurgle.
He kind of sits there. Nah, no way. No, you untouchable there. Especially with Armored Man at the front there. There's nobody getting through that wall of steel, and he knocks on it. Ta, the spike though. No one to touch you ever. And then, what do you do as he goes up to Mirrodin? Do you do same thing as Forehead Boy, but you just have more hair?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's so cool. Rakim never knew magic. He's not smart enough, but neither able, so maybe we the same dum-dum. What about Blue Lady? Do you not only swim, but you cast spells?
I do.
Show?
Uh,
Read mine. Tell me what I think right now. And he starts to close his eyes, and it looks like he's trying really hard.
I can't read your mind, but
Neither
she
can
cast-
I. That's what I think. So, you good, yes. Both of you. Hold on. And he parts your hair a little bit. Ah, big forehead, yes. Makes so
she
much.
casts
Wait a second.
primal savagery.
Oh shit! Roll attack.
Well, no, I'm not
Okay.
attacking him. I'm just like showing, like I can change the form.
Do you use it for claws or teeth or?
Let's do claws.
Okay. So as he starts pulling away, you like get these Wolverine claws that like sort of drip this sort of like poison, and then they go away. That the scariest thing I ever done seen, but also most attractive thing for Rakim. God damn! Abel's so jealous of Rakim, always getting the good girls, man.
Uh, starts rubbing and just looking down.
You're starting to break up a little bit. But I think I heard most of what you said. How about the tin can man? What else you do? Or you just let people hurt themselves on you, huh?
Well, if you wish to see,
Oh!
I'm gonna try to. Is there a lot of room? Like we're in a nice open room.
Yeah, you're in like an open courtyard with a bunch of different like doors and stuff like that. Almost like a motel, but it's like a lot more homely.
Well, without. Yeah, I don't want to, damage anything, but I'll have the blade pop out into his hand.
Okay. Whoa! Did not even know this man a magician himself. Did you see where that even came from, though? It was like this. Let me show everybody. And he kind of stands back. First his hand like this, then it like this. And he pulls out his club from the back. And it was without me even noticing that he had weapon on him. He was supposed to de-arm before coming to the king. I could have been in real trouble if he was a spy or assassin. And at that moment, he kind of blankly stares at the ground, and then he kind of looks. Are you assassin?
No, you don't have to worry about such things.
Yeah, too spiky for assassin. Make too clank clank noise. But that good. I like that. That cool. That very cool. Perhaps maybe you show Abel that trick when you guys get back in town. That would make Abel much more attractive to other peoples.
Well, it's part of the armor as he slowly puts it back in place.
Oh, I get it. The armor has the magic trick knocked you, Tin Can Man.
Well, I
But-
created the armor.
That is the magic trick then. Mind blown. And he does the mind blown like expression.
Hand gesture.
Man, Rakim, you got a nice friend here. Can you imagine what would happen? This town would be destroyed if they were here when we partied back in day. Rakim awfully quiet. Thinking about proposing tonight? And he nudges Cyrene. I only
Well, I'm
kid.
glad I got to
I
meet
only
my-
kid. I
I'm
do
glad
not
I
know
got to meet my future in-laws.
Oh, see, she ready, Rakim. Now you just have to do the asking there. Me heard that the hardest part. Abel kind of shows you guys to your various rooms. I will come. Oh, there he is. If you're saying something at this very moment, we do not hear you.
Hear me? You know?
Yeah.
Still kinda in and out of here.
My ping.
Oh dang, yeah, you're probably lagging hella hard. But essentially, Rakim or Abel would show you guys to your various rooms, and when you go in, it's almost as if this was the section for where the royal family used to live. And when you kind of go back out of your room and look around, you notice that there's like 10 different rooms. So it's kind of expected for a royal family to have a lot of children, is what you kind of gander from this, especially any of you that may be of royal blood. Abel, after showing you all, goes, well, Abel got to get back to work. Shift almost over, but I know Rakim have to do work in the morning, as that means you all have to, so I leave it to you. If you need anything, though, Abel finds you when you need him. And if Abel not here in the morning, well, safe journey. Show them to Schoolie who we are. Show them they should not bother, because they will
Thank you,
lose.
Abel.
Thank you, Blue Lady, for taking care of Rakim for me. And the rest of you, too. I like all of you. You're fun. Especially Tin
Quite.
Can Man with his magic trick.
Quite well.
He'll whip it.
Oh,
Put it in
that is the
form.
coolest thing. Gah! And he kind of sits there, and you see him with his hands on his hips, like going like, God damn, I can't believe that just happened. You know, something like that. It's like, well, y'all have a good night. Enjoy the sleep. I would use the lavender oil, not the other one. And he walks away.
So, little duckies, huh?
They're lovely.
Oh, he's typing. Well, you guys go ahead, and I would assume that you go ahead and rest for the night. And in the morning, as you wake up, you do notice that outside of your rooms there is a group of camels and a cart, and there's a note. And as Zuka goes up to read the note, he kind of reads it off, and then it says, My dearest son, these camels should provide you with a path to your destination, and this cart should have plenty of nourishment for you and your friends on your journey. Cannot wait to see you when you get home. If you plan to stay for a few days, maybe we can have a grand party for your re-arrival after all your training. It was so good to see you, and can't wait for you to come home. Love, King Amon.
Your dad's amazing, Zuko.
Yeah, he's one of a kind. Can y'all hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
Yep.
loud and clear.
Lit.
Okay, so let's see. It takes about. So this is the location that you have to go to. Zuka, you would know that the location of the Tusculi are over here. So you can go to either location at the same amount of time. And I'll say about the midway point, you guys kind of, as you're going, you would bring that up. So which direction do you guys head? Do you guys go straight south to the outpost itself, or do you go to the Tusculi place directly?
How long
How about
would it
the
take, roughly?
outpost?
Yeah, I'd say the outpost as well.
It would take about, let's see, on Camelback, a little less than a full day's journey.
Okay.
So before you would need to set up camp, you would make it there and be able to sort of like talk to the people and stuff like that if you went to the outpost, or you'd be able to make it to the Tusculi hive before and start whooping ass or whatever.
It might be good to gather information from the locals.
Okay. So as you guys are riding on Camelback, all of you make a perception check for me.
What is with these? All these nat ones on the right side today.
Yeah, I've noticed that. All right, so as you guys are going, the sky is quite bright here in the desert. You notice there's not a lot of cloud coverage, probably because of the lack of humidity. You do notice as you go a little bit further south, the humidity gets a little less and less, and the sun starts beating down on you more and more. You do see the occasional cactuses and cacti popping out from the ground and stuff like that. And as you look in the distance, you can see little creatures. They almost look like jackals or some sort of dog running in the distance as they chase other wildlife and for food and stuff like that. But other than that, everything's mostly unremarkable. But once you get a little more than halfway to your location, let's see, who was it? Cyrene, you notice about probably 20 feet away from the path that you guys are taking, you can see what looks to be a somewhat destroyed wagon.
Guys, there's a wagon over there. Did you want to go check it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So as you guys get over there, the wagon is it seems to be fairly recent. There's not a lot of decay to the wood. It's not as dried out as it would be if it were to be here without any type of. Yeah, I noticed that. It's not been there long enough for any sort of like splintering of the wood under the beating sun or anything like that. So it's fairly recent. You notice that the sort of cover portion instead of it being like ripped to shreds, kind of like you've seen in the past, like by claws or something like that, you notice there's a bunch of gaping holes, probably about an inch, maybe 2 inches in diameter. You also notice that there's like there's a corpse nearby, but it's been mostly picked clean. You see little pieces of flesh still hanging from the bones and stuff like that, but just by judging by the amount of that's left on it, whatever ate this creature made sure to like eat every little bit of it, and it left nothing. Other than that, there is a chest that you see that's already been opened and has started to take on sand. And as one of you go over there and sort of clean it out, you notice that there's nothing remarkable inside of it, except for a picture of a Luxodon family with one orc in it. And as you look at the corpse again, you notice that this corpse, at least Zuka would know this for sure, is definitely not big enough to be a Luxodon's skeleton, but it is big enough to be an orc's. So based on that picture, it almost looks as if she was probably traveling with family and probably defending this cart and died trying.
What else? Do we see anything else?
No, it's all kind of barren desert at this location. When you look towards the east, you see like sort of rolling hills of sand.
Mhm.
But other than that, nothing.
So there's no like footprints or anything like that in the sand or anything.
Oh no.
Okay.
I wonder if what we're after did this, or if it was something else.
What's wrong, Zuka?
I just hate seeing my people like this.
Well, yeah, I understand. It's not ideal. It's, but you know, we can figure out what happened. You know, so you know we can prevent this from happening anymore.
True enough, true enough. This is one of the things that I hate when taking on being a king.
So as you guys get back on your camels and start riding, you finish out the journey. You notice that nothing really happened, at least nothing that you saw. The wind picked up for a good portion of the end of your journey to where it was really hard to kind of see, really distant. Probably like only had 100 feet of visibility. But you do arrive to your location unscathed, and as you get to the outpost, you notice that it's just that. It's kind of like a temporary location. And as you get closer, you see probably like 10 different carts that are lined up, and all of them are filled with various metals and gems and stuff like that, all raw and waiting to be transported to be refined. So as you guys come up, there is a guard that approaches, and he goes, "Excuse me, but oh, Prince Rakim," and he bows instantly. I was unaware that you would be visiting us. Is this a inspection? Wait, weren't you gone? Yes, you were gone to the Peacekeepers Guild, if I'm not mistaken, and you're back so soon. This is marvelous. You there, Gerald?
He's typing.
Oh, I didn't see that. I was on my journal page. And you are all friends of Prince Rakim?
That'd be correct.
On business. I'm assuming if you're on business and it's not here for the carts, you're here to figure out the Tusculi, huh?
Yes, we are.
Here, let me show you to the guards' headquarters. We can talk there, and I'll tell you everything that I know. And he, as you guys are riding on Camelback, he's walking. This is a Luxodon, heavily armored, and he's wielding a spear. So as you guys are following him, you get to see some of the outposts, and it's really, it looks like it's kind of like a mining town. So their whole business here, from what you can gather, is that they, you can see from the distance, probably a couple 100 feet in front of you, you see a big opening in the side of the mountain that this place is near. And you can tell that that's the entrance to the mine where Luxodon and Orc and various other races. There's a couple dwarves around here too that help them and things like that. But they're all mining away and getting things for the Empire at this location. The location that they're staying in looks very relative to some of the buildings you saw in the capital. Very square in structure, and a very light colored stone. And he opens the door and gestures you all to come inside.
Well, let's go on in then.
Okay. So as you
Cool.
guys all pile in, it's a relatively small place. Obviously, this is probably where the guards meet. It's not where they actually live. So as he comes through, he goes, "Well, if you're here for the Tusculi, couple things that I've noticed about them. One thing is that you really want to watch out for the small ones. The more of those that there are, the more trouble you'll be in. They also have some sort of elite soldiers that kind of lead from behind and are really, really good at using their bows. So it's going to be quite tough if they're able to get the tactical advantage, especially if you guys are going to their hive. They'll probably have it crawling with them. We're not sure how many Tusculi there are, and we're not sure if we're the only ones being targeted. Come to think of it, we actually haven't heard from the Orcish tribes in probably about a week or two. I don't think anyone's ever tried. Well, you wouldn't know. You've just got here, so I apologize. The Tusculi, they haven't been necessarily killing. What they've been doing is they've been paralyzing people with their stingers and taking them back to their hive for who knows what reason. Usually they don't take someone every day, but every couple days, somehow they're able to see our trade caravans, or at least know that they're moving along, and they wait until they're in the most vulnerable positions before they attack. So far, I think they've captured 30 Luxodon and 20 Orc. The main threat to it all, though, is the Queen. While the Queen remains alive, she is able to essentially talk to all of her servants, regardless of the distance, to some degree. I'm not sure exactly how far they can go away from the hive before they start to, or before this this influence of their queen starts to fade, but it seems the closer they are to their queen, the stronger they become. Are there any questions that you have? Maybe something I didn't cover?
Are they able to communicate regardless of their location?
To a degree. In all honesty, more often than not, when they do attack, we're just not prepared for them. We've noticed that they've got these sort of mandibles that they're able to click, and we've picked up a sort of rhythmic pattern that they use in order to communicate when they're close by. But we've also noticed that on occasion they'll suddenly look back towards their home and they'll leave in the middle of whatever they were doing, as if they were being called back.
Hmm. May have to cut off their mandibles then.
I mean, if you were to get that close, you might as well just kill the damn thing. They've been nothing but a nuisance as of late. I don't believe that we've ever had a formal contract or peace treaty with them, but I could have sworn that our empire and theirs, for lack of a better term, had come to an agreement, but it seems that for whatever reason as of late, that does not matter. A demon, I've not even heard of a demon lord. What exactly is that? Obviously, I know what a demon is, and I can assume that it's a demon lord is the lord of the demons, but did they exist here?
It seems that they have been resurfacing as of late in certain parts of the world.
That is very, very strange and very concerning.
It would, to try to describe it, it seems that these neutral tribes have some leader that lives in a different plane that are being called demon lords, and they're figuring out ways to bring them into our plane.
Yes, that is very concerning indeed. But I guess luckily I haven't actually heard anything about that, so that's a good thing, right?
Hopefully, it stays that way.
I very much hope so too. Well, since it is getting late, I'm sure we can procure you some sort of place to stay. It won't be as luxurious as the palace that you're used to, Prince Rakim.
We greatly appreciate any accommodations you come up with for us.
And he nods his head, and he walks outside, leading you guys a little bit further, a little closer to the mine. And as he gets to a building, I can have the workers move out and move to a different location, but this should suit your needs. Feel free to use it as long as you need while you're here on business. And if there's anything that we can procure for you, we don't really have any sort of, I guess, actual products to sell you or anything, but we can definitely provide you food and water if need be.
Thank you.
I'll look to Alfred.
Yes?
Couldn't we just use the hut that you normally use, so we don't have to inconvenience the workers?
We could. I was going to bring it up. I can make us a relatively safe spot for us to sleep in. It's a magical little sphere that'll keep us safe through the night.
Oh. Well, I mean, I'm sure the workers wouldn't mind, moving to a different location for the prince, but if that is your wish, then that would be perfectly fine, and I'm sure they would appreciate it. So Cyrene, at this moment, you actually hear off in the distance a buzzing sound.
Does anyone else hear that?
They do not. Sorry, dear, what do you hear besides the howling wind?
There's a buzzing sound in the distance.
You see his face kind of go pale a little bit. Oh no, the workers. And he grabs his spear and starts running. Sound the alarm! To schoolie! And you can hear, moments after that, you can hear a bell in the distance. Ding, 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 ding. And as you kind of look towards the southern part of the outpost, you can see the mine, which, had a couple people here and there, but now you see a bunch of people, like, running from outside of the mine, and they're starting to run. In the distance, as all of you guys are looking, Cyrene points the way that she hears, and you can see that the wind has started to pick up a little bit and is causing kind of like a minor sandstorm, so it's kind of hard to see, especially with the light getting lower because the sun's going down. But in the distance, probably about 200, 300 feet away, you can see these dark figures in the sky. And now, as they start to get closer, you can start to hear the buzzings. There's probably about 5 or 6 of them.
Which way did the guard go?
He
when
went
was
to the south.
Raising the alarm. Was that kind of in the direction?
No, he was heading towards the general populace. The direction of the people, or of the buzzing you
The
hear,
workers? Yeah.
is more
My
towards
bad.
this way, to the east, and he's running towards the workers to the south.
Shall we follow him and protect the workers?
Or did we want to go straight towards them to prevent any movement?
What if there's more that we don't notice if we're too far from the workers?
True. Alright, let's follow him.
Okay. So as you guys start to follow him, you do notice that the buzzing of the flying ones, they kind of stop towards the outskirts, and then you can hear a bunch of mandibles clicking coming from underneath them, and you see probably about a swarm of like 20 start to just spread out from behind all of these different houses and stuff like that. And as they start to come, everyone to the mine! And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Nice.
Thinking of that one movie, or that one Riddick movie, where
oh
yeah.
yeah. Isn't that what is it called? Dark something?
The
Pitch
first
Black.
one. Yeah, Pitch Black. Yeah.
Pitch Black.
And then all those creatures come out. Yeah.
Man, that shit was fucking scary. I might watch that tomorrow. We'll see.
Swarms of them.
Swarms of anything is freaky.
Oh yeah.
True.
Alright, I'm gonna end my stream and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Alright, hopefully everyone had a good time. That was a very heavy RP session for sure. But that was kind of my plan. I personally don't really like running combat. It's fun. It is fun on occasion because I get to throw cool creatures, but I really don't like to have a combat every single session just because, one, it takes forever, and two, the creatures I throw at these guys, because of their classes and their makeup, it's a lot stronger than any of the normal stuff that they should be, thanks to homebrew. I throw a lot of really nasty shit at them, and as I've noticed, so far we're on, what is this, session 11, and 3 people have died, technically. I mean, technically 2 of them didn't actually die, but that was for, narrative purposes, for the creatures to summon their god, their demon lord. But yeah, in theory, 3 people have died, and damn. But anyway, until we play again, we'll see ya. Peace.